Howie Vision. Howie Vision. I've had more people text me now in the last 2 hours since this Dotson deal went down. What do you make of it? What do you make of this Dotson deal? By the way, do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. We always start the program out, though, with the legendary call, Big Sills, here on the National Football Show, and I will give you, without a doubt, truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. 2 weeks out from Packers and Eagles. Shit, Kansas City, too. Baltimore right around the corner. And today, the Eagles make a deal. Dotson from Penn State, who was the 16th player taken a few years ago. Make no mistake about it. I think this is a really great deal. By the way, the Big Seal Show, National Football Show, and on top of that, JAKIB Sports, we're all powered by BetUS. We implore you to go on the website. This is your betting house for the upcoming NFL season. So we appreciate those guys and their support, and we appreciate, obviously, your support. So let me give you my initial takeaway. This is a perfect number 3. Okay? He averaged 15 yards a catch his rookie year, had 7 touchdowns. Not quite as good a year ago, but I think you had a lot of influx with the organization as well. With Daniel Snyder selling the team, with Sam Howell the guy. Let's not forget in week 8. Am I right, guys, when I say this? In week 8 of last year, he had 8 catches for 108 in a TD. Does that sound right? 110? Something like that? 108, 8 catches, right? I thought he had a touchdown in that game. So this is a great number 3. I'll tell you if it changes my opinion of the team here in a minute. But look, Terry McLaurin is going to get the majority of the targets. Make no mistake about that. You know, and supposedly he hadn't had a great camp these last couple days. And since camp started, he hasn't had a great camp. Well, that being said, I think you're trying to break in a brand new quarterback. But on top of that, you got to question what Washington's doing. You take a talented kid away like that from Jaden Daniels. Aren't you trying to acquire as many assets as you possibly can? You know, I mean, that deal's pretty peculiar. And you're in division. You're doing it. It's pretty peculiar on this deal here. I mean, you know, it's kind of odd to see something like this happen in division, and we are just a couple weeks out from the start of the season. Dotson, Eagles get a 5th rounder in 25. They surrendered to Washington a 3rd-round pick and 2 7th rounders in 2025. Is that a lot for him? No. I don't think that's a lot. I think that's a good deal for both teams. Commanders might use our picks to help get Ayuk. Great take. Great take, Nick. Great take. To put Brandon Ayuk on the other side of Terry McLaurin is a smart-ass move. It's a smart-ass move. I like that. Or could it be that they're trying to deal potentially with Cincinnati with Jamar Chase? I doubt that Jamar Chase is being moved. Okay, so Washington might be, like you said, Nick. Nick, I think that's an outstanding take here. But let me get to the Eagles part of this. You know, once again, the emphasis on addressing the offensive side of the football is no question a major priority in that organization. Is this a good deal? Yes. Is it a fair deal for both teams? Who got the better end of this? Yet to be determined. Quite frankly, Pittsburgh got the best end of the Kenny Pickett deal so far. Okay? Peyton Wilson's a starter. And Kenny Pickett, in my opinion, will never be a starter again. I think Pittsburgh, as of right now, we'll see how Wilson plays, got the better end of it. But for them to have him in the 3-hole, boy, they addressed a ton of shit on that side of the football. Contract extensions, player additions, Barkley, now Dotson. Has it moved the meter for me? No. You still haven't addressed your defense. Is your offense with more prolific tools? Yeah. Yes. Is it a good deal? Yes. Was it a needed deal? More so than a linebacker or edge rusher? No way. No way. Now, Dotson is not a frontline dude. Okay? Not a frontline dude. Hey, Filthy, he's a starter for the Steelers who drafted him in the NFL draft in April. He's a starter. He'll be starting week 1. That's who he is. Nels goes best wide receiving core in the league, Sills. Let's not overvalue Dotson, but in the role he's being put in, he could be one of the top 3 guys in the league. Top wide receiver 3 in the league. Okay? Prince says they're building the defense through the draft. Takes more time. You have not changed the meter for me in any way whatsoever with this Dotson deal because you haven't addressed your defense. And if we're going to go with what Prince says, at the end of the day, bottom line, takes more time in the draft, more time to develop. It takes a defense more time to gel. Okay? Get this here. Let's see what this guy says. For sure, you're a hater. What people expect for you, you're a joke. Why? Because you didn't address the side of the football that I think you're deficient on, and you keep addressing the side of the football where you're great on. What's the problem? I mean, hey, guy, just telling the truth the way I see it. Have you made your offense even better? Yeah. Well, you're not going to win with one-sided ball, I don't think. I've never seen it. Commanders might be going after Ayuk or CeeDee Lamb. I doubt Dallas trades. But then again, Washington just traded Dotson in division. I think those moves are going to become more prevalent in today's NFL, especially with wide receivers. Isn't it funny how these wide receivers get moved around? Seals, I would have made a trade for an edge for the Eagles. Yeah. You've not moved the meter for me with your team in any way whatsoever. It can be a good deal. Is he the best? Is he a really good number 3 on that team? Yeah. Is he going to improve the offense and help the offense? Probably, yeah. Is he going to help your defense? Maybe a little. Time of possession, another weapon, another option. I'm not moved in any way except for this. Nice deal for a number 3. That's all. I mean, I'm not moving off at 9-8 because you added Dotson. Ayuk 2 Commanders gets us closer to a Super Bowl with NFC Championship versus San Francisco. Tell you what, you put Ayuk on the other side of Terry McLaurin, that's a hell of an offensive firepower there yourself. And then again, this all comes down to Jaden Daniels. Eagles adding firepower. NFL wants more flash. It's true, Q. The Eagles are doing what the NFL wants. NFL removing the teeth of defenses with new rules and policies. Very true. It's a great take, Q. You're right. Here goes negative sales. I fucking love it. Y'all hit the like button for negative. What has changed? Hey, Big Marshall, what has changed your football team by adding Dotson? That's changed your defense? Give me a break, dude. It's a good deal. It's a great addition. It doesn't change your defense and the problems you have over there. It does not do any of that. Holy shit. It's not negative. It's reality. This does limit Howie to continue to go after a linebacker or edge. I expect him to do more or go mercenary route by the deadline. He'll go mercenary. Not going to put any money on that side of the ball. Need wide receiver depth. Absolutely. If one of the guys goes down, you've got a capable guy of picking up the mail for Devontae or for AJ. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I mentioned it the other day, Sills. If Jalen and Jordan improve this season, the defense will be fine. You said we didn't have a guy at the 3. Hey, Prince, I didn't say it's a bad deal. I said it's a great deal. Getting Dotson into the offense is a great deal. It hasn't changed my opinion of your football team, though. Has it changed my opinion of your offense? Kind of. You added another really good player. Okay. You haven't added it to the side of the ball with all the question marks. There is no question marks on offense. There wasn't any question marks prior to Dotson being added on offense. Health, maybe. Going 9-8. Hey, Big Trag, you do not, I got it, Xander. You do not have a Super Bowl defense. I don't give a shit what you think. And you know it. You know it. Hey, two things can be true. It's a good deal. Holy shit. Are you guys fucking nuts? Jahan Dotson can't play safety. He can't play linebacker. He's not an edge rusher. Those question marks on August 21st are still here August 22nd. Holy shit. What are you talking about here? What changed? You added a number 3 receiver? Let's pump the brakes. Once again, I can't stand that I have to be so fucking soft to you fuckers sometimes that it drives me nuts to make you feel better around yourself to get a reach around. It's a good deal. Does it move the meter on your team? No. No. Two things can be true. You improve your offense. Yes, because you improve 3-hole. Yes. Do you improve your team? No. I mean, holy shit. Let's be candid here and let's have some common sense here. Okay? I don't disagree with you, Sills. I now see the vision. The front office is going to build the defense through the draft, which takes time to maintain financial stability on the offensive side. So you're robbing Peter financially to pay Paul. Prince is saying this. One side of the ball, they're going to try to build stability through the draft. That ain't a one-year fix. You got to hope every one of those rookies hit. Not happening. One may hit this year. One may hit next year. Look at your boy, Nakobe Dean. It's taken him 3 years to look halfway decent on a football field. Just go by common sense. It's taken Jordan Davis 2 years to look halfway decent. Name me a fucking guy you drafted over there that hasn't taken some. Nolan Smith still hasn't showed up. He still hasn't. Every one of those guys on that side of the ball you drafted has not hit as a rookie. Carter a little bit a year ago. He's ahead of the game. He's ahead of the game. Okay? Every other one of those guys is taking 2-3 years. Okay, that's the point. Nolan Smith's in his second year. Correct. Okay. Well, we haven't seen shit yet from the guy. This guy, hey, get this. I'm a hater for speaking the truth. Here's a guy that doesn't like the truth. He wants to hear fucking people cheering shit that's not true. Not here. I don't disagree with you, but I think the Eagles relying. Okay, let's get to the topic. Eagle all day? I'm not sure you're wrong. I'm not sure you're wrong here. Once again, so that some of you, like Dave Chappelle said, so that you can feel better about yourselves, I'll do it one more time. Holy cow. Talk about weakness. It's a really good deal for the Eagles. He's a good player who could be an even better player with a better quarterback. Sam Howell is not that great. Okay? He was good against the Eagles. Well, that's not hard because when you play that center field defense, everyone's going to have a field day. He threw for almost 800 yards last year, Sam Howell. Seals, the only issue I have with this trade is the third-round pick is available, Chip. It is. Third round's a big number. That could be used for edge or linebacker. It smells like the picket for the third, which was used for a starting linebacker and a need. That's what Pittsburgh did by getting Wilson, correct? Okay, Pittsburgh used that 3 and got Wilson. So you're right, okay? They took Kenny Pickett. Get this, what they did with Pickett. Pickett, yes, was a number 1 overall draft choice, or a first rounder, I should say. And what did the Steelers do? They knew they weren't going to get the value in return, so you know what they did? They drafted a starter. Shit, that's covering it, as far as I'm concerned. That's covering it. You drafted a starter. Kenny Pickett brought a starter in. It's a pretty good move by Pittsburgh. Okay? It's almost like Roseman, Laurie are testing whether they can win with half a team. Sam, that's the topic today. That's the topic. Let me get to the topic page. It's a great take, Sam. Please hit the like button, guys. Okay? Andreas could be right. Between the Packers and the Eagles, hey, Andreas, that thing could look like a 4x100 relay at the Olympic Games. Seriously, that could look, you could basically see 40 points by both teams in that game, September 6th. Yes, I could see that. Okay, I can see that. Before I get to the topic, I'm going to get to some of your takes because you guys are thinking a lot like I am now. Great. Maybe a little too harsh on some of you here, but okay. These fans think we're just going to outscore everyone. Like, offense will have a bad game and defense is going to have to help win a game. Defense can't stop anyone right now. It stinks. Well, let's see it get on the field a little bit. By the way, today, Xander Krause at 3:30 and Merrill Reese, the legendary golden voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, will join us at 4:30. He is always so kind to do that. Sills, with the Dotson trade, who's the odd man out in the wide receiver room? That kid Smith. I'll dump his ass. I wouldn't be shocked by tomorrow or whenever cutdown day is. He's out. Wilson will be probably the 4th guy. No, Paris Campbell will. Those other 2 guys will probably the kid from FSU probably make the active squad. And probably make the he'll probably make the active 53. Here, get this. Dan, do you really believe that defenses still win championships? Ask Kansas City. Kansas City last year was led by their defense. And Mahomes led them back in the Super Bowl in the overtime. Kansas City Chiefs were run by defense last year. They won the Super Bowl because of their defense. and how good they were defensively. Yeah, I do. Kansas City's a prime example of it. Got the best coordinator, and they had the best run at the end. And the Kansas City defense kept them afloat while they were losing still to people like the Raiders. Kansas City last year was a defensive football team. Okay? It was a defensive football team. Guys, hit the like button. Guys, bring a great point up here. Okay? Hey, Mr. International goes, I believe in Vic. No, Vic's not the guy you got to believe in. Did Howie put enough good people on that side of the ball? Yes or no? Did he put enough good people on that side of the ball? Very simple. Okay? Senor, my panties aren't in a bunch. The only thing that gets me in a bunch sometimes is the unrealistic conversations that you have about your fucking team. It's crazy. Still, there have been teams to win the Super Bowl with bad defenses. 2011 Giants. Yeah, but here's the deal. Once again, Greg, statistically, when you put those numbers up like that, how well were they playing in the postseason? How well were they playing at the end of the year? You can have the Eagles this year could have the 20th ranked defense heading into December. But if they have teams where they're holding them under 275 yards the final month of the season, that's not a 25th ranked defense. That's exactly what happened to Kansas City 2 years ago when they were facing you in the Super Bowl. They started out rough, and by the end of the year, they had gathered themselves and got better. Numbers, hey, how about this? Shit, man, you guys were 4th or 2nd or number 1 in stopping the run at the beginning. This is the greatest that I could tell you example. Last year, you guys were number 1 stopping the run, right? Number 1. For how long? 10 weeks? Where did that number end up? By the end of the year, you were surrendering 138 yards a game. I mean, you weren't really the 4th best run defense or the best run defense in the league. It really goes in stages on how a team performs. First quarter poll, second quarter poll, third quarter poll, fourth quarter poll. I see Philly 500 in here. Hey, dude, end of the day, this doesn't change my objective thoughts on the team so far with the defense. Hey, is it a good deal, one more time, to make everybody feel good about themselves? It's a really good addition in the 3-hole with a kid I actually like. And I don't know what happened in Washington. I want to hear more of why they dealt him. He was a 16th player. He was a 16th player taken. And personally, I mean, 7 touchdowns, average 15 yards a catch his rookie year. That's not horrible. I think he actually had a better, not yardage-wise, but I think he had more touchdowns in his rookie year than what Devontae did in his rookie year. And I think he averaged more yards per catch his rookie year. And you got Terry McLaurin, and you don't have Hurts. You have Sam Howell, and back then I think you had Jacoby Brissett and some other dudes that were there in Washington. I think he's a good player. I don't dislike the deal. Again, though, it hasn't changed the room for me when it comes to your defense. Same questions existed on August 21st that they do on August 22nd. Will you be able to stop anybody? How about this? Like I said, too, one thing that's for sure, if you have 3 and outs and you put that defense in a poor position against Green Bay will put 21 on you. Your offense is going to have to. Let's get to the topic here, because you guys have brought a good point up. Hit the like button, please. We appreciate it. The Eagles acquire Jahan Dotson, wide receiver. And there's no question the defense still has not been addressed in any way. Now, could something still happen at a Dotson level? Yeah. They got the cap space. I don't know how much equity they're going to give away. Now, they did a lot of trading in the draft. Okay? They do. Wait, you think we're only going to win 8. I said 9 games. I said 9 and 8 because of the defense. Yes, we won 11 last year with an even worse defense. Who says you're better than last year's defense? That's an assumption, Prince. Prince is assuming he's better than a year ago. You're assuming that. That's not fact. You're assuming that. You're assuming that you're better now. That's an assumption. I'm going by what you've done and who you are. And once again, if you're going to build, like Prince says, your defense through the draft, that's a 2-3 year process. Kobe Dean's in his 3rd year. He's finally starting to look like something, maybe. Jordan Davis kind of has gone up and down. You really don't know what he is yet. He looks like a good player. Is he a great player? I don't know. No, and Dan's assuming that we are the worst. No, I'm assuming who you are until otherwise proven. You don't get the fucking benefit of the doubt. Why do you want the benefit of the doubt? How do you erase what you are? You're inexperienced and you haven't addressed really a lot over there on defense. Dude, the Johan Dotson deal doesn't make you a Super Bowl contender. It makes your offense fantastic. And here, can you win a Super Bowl with a one-sided football team? Yes or no? You think that Jalen Hurts can throw his football team out of trouble if that team in any way has a couple 3-and-outs in a ball game and you're playing against Joe Burrow or you're playing against Lamar or you're playing against Jordan Love or any of those quarterbacks that are going to rip you a new one because of that weak-ass zone defense and too high safety? You think really I saw average quarterbacks have high percentage completions against that style of defense in 22. Your Super Bowl year. Okay? 10 or more wins. You wear a Hurts jersey, or I'll drop 100. Okay. What realistic defense move can be made right now, in your opinion, to change your mind with the cap space we have? Good question. Good question. Let me see here. What did I see? Did I see Philly 500 in here? He had a question. Marshall goes like this. Sills, what move can be made? I just saw Carolina make a deal with Seattle, I think, on a linebacker. What could be made right now? Hey, dude, I'd call Cincinnati up. What are you going to do with Hendrickson? I'd also call up the Chargers. What are you going to do with Bosa? You need an edge rusher. I'm not sold that Huff and Nolan Smith are going to deliver. I'm not. I'm just not. Well, Sills, I'm not ready to write him off. I'm not ready to write him in off of 1 year. Dude, I'm not giving a guy $50 million because he had a season. And the rest of the other 5 seasons or 4 seasons were marginal, below marginal. I mean, you talk about what ifs. Howie Roseman's the biggest what if. He paid a guy $51 million off of a 1-season effort. That's what if. That's not stability. Please hit the like button, guys. By the way, I guess I don't mind saying it because new people are coming in and out. It's not a bad deal. It's a really good deal. It's okay to be excited with a new front door, knowing that you still have to replace the shutters and siding. It's the point people are making. Look, you're dressing up the wrong side of your house, though. I mean, you're addressing and you're basically doing one side of the house. You're fixing the floor and the roof leaks. That's what you're doing. You're fixing the floor, but the roof leaks. I mean, okay. Sills, Do we have better coaching than we did last season? It seems. Yes. Yes. Hey, dude, Prince, did not Vic Fangio tell you at a press conference the other day, we'll know how good we are by week 10? And what did he say when he was at that golf tournament? Schemes don't make great defenses, players do. We'll know by week 10 or 12, he said. That's your coordinator talking, not Big Sales talking. How come you believe him? And he says the same shit I'm saying. How in the world can that be? He says the same shit I say. He almost echoes everything I'm saying. Let's see here. Dan, what concerns me is if the Packers are running at will, and that will open things up like crazy for Love. Run defense again. Dude, if the Packers get a run offense going, which I don't think they will early, I don't believe that. I think they're going to have a short passing game. And I think they're going to have tight end play and Josh Jacobs catching the ball because those linebackers will not be able to cover them. Okay? And I think they're going to get a lot of offense, the Packers, out of the slot because you don't have anybody who can cover. So, I mean, Gardner Johnson's not even that great of a cover slot corner. He's not. Slot safety. He's not. Okay, so I think they're going to get a lot out of the slot. And then let's see, then in the second half, if Jacobs can loosen it up a little bit. Seals, how would you like to be a defensive coordinator to scheme this offense? The number one thing, in my opinion, it's a great take. And to scheme this offense, well, how do you scheme this offense? How do you scheme something like when you have multiple players here? And here, I'm going to say this. So now that Jalen has all these talented guys, we're going to talk a little bit about expectations now for everyone. Hey, dude, there's only one football. Hurts has struggled reading defenses in his career. Is he going to he couldn't even get the ball barely to the tight end. Number 3 wide receiver was a joke. Now, the RPO offense was completely different. Last year's offense was too basic. Now you have a more complex offense. A lot of motion, a lot of false motion. You hear more talking. Doesn't really say a ton, but he kind of gives you the direction of what he wants to do. Is Hurts going to be able to get the football to all these guys? And really, the question will come down. Can you win with one side of the football as the other? Hey, how about this? I'll concede this point. Guys, please hit the like button. I'll concede this point. Hey, will you guys have a good defense one day? Yeah. Let's go here. Yeah, you will. How long is it till that one day? Vic has already asked for week 12 before we know. He was asked the question in his last press conference. Go back and watch it. How well will you know? Do you feel more comfortable now with the guys on what you've seen? He goes, it's too early to ask that. Ask me week 12 or week 10 or week 12, and I'll let you know then. Well, fuck, he's saying the same shit I am. He's saying the same thing. Excuse me, greatest show on turf. You do not have a passer like Kurt Warner. That ain't it. Okay? That ain't it. If this season falls apart, which it probably will, who's to blame? Cobra. It's August 22nd. You made a really good deal. The team falling apart is something that you're kind of like suggesting that this is inevitable to doom. I don't know. Last year was doom and they won, to Prince's point, 11 games. Okay? You won 11 games, and it was a horrible season. Do you know how many teams like the Jets would kill to have 11 wins and have a shitty season? I mean, that's insanity. So you start at that bench part and that benchmark. It's pretty impressive. And you know what? Maybe I don't say that enough. Hey, Sills, I know we weren't good, but we did win 11 games. We won as many games as the Kansas City Chiefs did a year ago. Think about that. You guys won as many games as the Chiefs in the regular season. And that's where you kind of start at. And was the defense good? Hey, get this. The defense wasn't good because you guys are blaming coaching. Okay. Well, you don't have an elite pass rusher like you did a year ago with Reddick. You're hoping you do. Last year you had one. Last year you had, you know what you also had? You had a safety net and what? Case Davis and Carter kind of fell apart a little bit. You had Fletcher in the middle, 6.5 sacks. He was your best defensive interior tackle all year long. If you go all across the 17-game season, Carter was great all the way up until week 10. And then Fletcher was the most consistent player throughout the entire week. Sills ignoring recent history to fill a negative narrative. What is that? What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, you hear what you want to hear, honestly. I mean, people listen to me and they hear things they want to hear. I'm not ripping anything. I'm telling you right now on August 22nd, I have the same opinion about your football team that I did on August 21st. No, nothing's changed. Now, Sills, the addition of Dotson, you think that adds a nice piece to the number 3 hole? Absolutely. Is it a good trade? It's a good trade for both. Yes. Was that a major need? Absolutely not. Hey, how many people believe you could have went into the 2024 season with Paris Campbell and Ben Cool? You guys have been telling me it's the best offense in the league. So you were cool with it yesterday. All of a sudden now, that puts you over the top? It doesn't. You're not a balanced roster. It can. Well, I can't believe how many people in here have to make themselves feel good about themselves. There's nothing wrong with saying both things are right. Okay? It's a good deal. But the team hasn't been improved across the board. Well, Sills, wait a minute. Adding a player like that doesn't improve the team? You win Super Bowls with 3 phases of football: special teams, defense, and offense. Okay? Sills, now, if you're asking me, did it improve the offense? Absolutely. Can you win with one-sided football? I don't think so. Kansas City stopped Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. They stopped him. Prince, we lack coaching, communication, and discipline in 23. Of course, the players, no accountability at all. None. So they fold their tent too. Okay, no problem. All right, including Hurts. Okay, Eduardo. I don't think this is a bad take right here. We just need top 15 to 18 defense and we're good. Yeah, you're right. If you go from being down at the bottom where you were, and all of a sudden you climb back up, and you're in that 15, 16 range in the middle of the pack, you're going to go a long way. Get this. The climb for you is not that high. Can't get any worse than it was a year ago. Your defense was a train wreck, especially in the second half of the year. And that was because of the overrated Patricia. I mean, you went from second in pass defense to 31st. I've never seen a cliff dive like that unless there were major injuries. And you didn't have major injuries at your corner position. The only thing that was different was pressure. Folks, the key to your football team this year is not going to be the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be, do you get to the quarterback? Are you putting pressure like you did in 22 on the quarterback? Hurts' numbers weren't spectacular in 22. He had no turnovers. He was a dual threat weapon. But the factor was that defense put iconic numbers up. Second most sacks in pro football history. Most hits on the quarterback. The hurries you had. The turnovers with Gardner Johnson you had. That was the difference. Also, between 23 and 22 was that defense made plays. They showed up and made plays. Top 10 defense, no question. Okay, sure. Not in a billion years. Not in a billion years. With what? Worst linebacking core in the league? Seriously. This guy thinks you're going to have a top 10 defense with the worst linebackers in pro football as a group. And you're telling me that Trotter's going to start or that Devin White is going to come off, whatever. I agree with John McMullen on one point here. You know what that is? Elite linebackers don't get one-year prove-it deals for $3 million. Name a better roster than the Eagles' next 4 years under contract. Next 4 years? Well, I don't know what you guys have on defense yet. How do you know Quinyon Mitchell's going to be an elite wide cover corner? How do you know that Cooper DeJean's going to be a good player? How do you know Eli Ricks is going to be a great player? How do you know that Nakobe Dean's going to be a good player? How do you know that Nolan Smith? For you to say that, it's projecting. You don't have improved Dick over there yet. You have not proven anything. Detroit. There you go. Fly. Detroit's got a better roster. And went to the NFC title game with all first or second year guys. They're loaded over there, all young dudes who are on their first rookie contracts. And then you got Goff. I don't know. I still can't believe I say that guy is putting up top 10 numbers. It's insane what he does. I don't like the guy. But you can't ignore his resume at all. Hey, J-Rock, do you have somebody on your football team in the Hayden Hutchinson role? Do you have anybody on your team in that Jack Campbell role, that linebacker? Do you have anybody that's in what the Eagles? Now, I don't really think that the Lions are that exceptionally gifted in the secondary. I don't. They got the best O-line in football. Pretty good tandem of running backs. They got a great tight end. And they got pretty good wide receivers there. It's a roster across the board. You got the best offense, no question. Your defense, we'll see. We'll see. Sills, do the Lions have a Jalen Carter? No, they don't. But once again, we'll see if Jalen Carter can play 17 games. You're crazy if you compare apples to apples and think Detroit has a better roster, but at this point, here, I'll say this to you, dude. I don't know what that means. Detroit last year went to the NFC title game. They're a pretty good football team. Interior pressure matters. You had none last year. I mean, not like you did in 22. Hargrave had 11 sacks. Sills is a Vic doubter. No, I actually, unfortunately, talk like Vic does, and you can't handle. None of you could be coached by Vic. Not one of you in here could be coached by Vic Fangio because you can't handle being told who you are. Vic Fangio says and echoes the same stuff I do. If you go listen to his press conferences, there's nothing I say that's different than what Vic Fangio says. Bryce Huff, well, he's a work in progress. You know, he's learning to do a lot of new things. He's never played 3-down line. We're trying to get him there. He's not a very good tackler or can't cover, but we think he has the skill to do it, but it's still a work in progress. How good is Nakobe Dean doing? He's doing good. What about the pressure? Well, we'll see. That's why he's bringing more linebacker blitzes. He's trying to come up and be creative in blitzing. Tell me something again that I'm saying different than Vic Fangio. What am I saying different? Hey, get this. If you don't think, get this, look at this. Look how dumb this is. If you don't think Vic will motivate these guys, you're sadly mistaken. You're motivated by your fucking paycheck. You think that I get to the NFL or these players get to the NFL and they need rah-rah guys? What do you think? This is junior football? Or playing high school ball in Nazareth High? What are you talking about? When I get my paycheck direct deposited every Tuesday, that's motivating. Because those paychecks go away. Okay? You're telling me Vic Fangio tells the guys the truth. The truth always motivates. The truth always motivates. Okay? You know why? Hey, you're not getting it done. Shit. Instead of that bullshit you get from Fredo Sirianni, that word salad shit. Vic goes like this. Hey, he's not ready yet. We'll see. So you guys actually think Bryce Huff in a camp is going to be ready for Green Bay and he's going to be some sort of demon tackler and cover guy when he's never been in 6 years? Okay. Magic Vic Fangio's sprinkle dust. Okay. Bob Brown. Bob, do that again if you can, please. Okay? Yeah, okay, dude. Sure. I have no idea what this means. Dan, you sound a little ignorant. I'm not going to lie. Coaches absolutely motivate better than others. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. In pro football, I have no idea what that means. You get motivated by the truth, being told who you are and where you are on the depth chart. That's motivation. When you're second team and you're third team, you're motivated because you're trying to get up the first team. Not because some fucking coach gives you a Newt Rockney speech. Let's win one for the Gipper. How dumb. You make these guys sound like they're 6 years old. Many of these players understand. You're not here for long, dude, if you don't start to improve yourself. Vic Fangio, being honest, is enough motivation for anybody. That's motivation. You're not ready yet. Well, let me go out there and prove him wrong. Okay. Get this. What do you say? Is a major problem in the slot? I don't ever remember anybody saying that when he was in Washington. I never heard that. I think, again, I don't want to dispel the trade. It's good. It's a good move. Holy cow. You guys have to have reach arounds to make yourselves feel better. Some of you do. It's insane how you have to be talked to and talked like a kid. You know, Vic Fangio would have to talk to you like some of you, like a 5-year-old to make you feel better about yourself. You could never be coached by some of these NFL guys. You could never handle Clint Hurt. These guys are in your grill and in your face. That sucks. And here's why. You got your head backside. He's going to slip right up and scoop you up to the linebacker. And he's on the second level and you're backside, play side, and you're getting walled off. Got to get front side. This is a technique deal, dude. Put your freaking head in the 3-hole. Line up in proper technique. And if you don't, you're going to get killed. That's how coaches talk to you. Sills, looked at Dotson's numbers. He averaged 500 yards. I would have kept the third. I don't know, man. 500 yards and what was the numbers? I don't know, man. I think he's a good three-hole guy. I'm okay with it. Look, here it is. 2022, he had 35 catches. Dude, the entire year, last year, the number 3 wide receiver position had 36 catches. That's already an upgrade. Last year, he had 49 catches for 518. He's around 500 yards. Well, for the three-hole guy, how many people in here, do me a favor. How about this? How many people in here would love this if this guy Dotson delivered you 49 catches for 560 yards and 7 touchdowns? I'd be fucking over the top with that. That would be an incredible year out of the 3 wide receiver hole with Devontae Smith and AJ on the other side. That'd be insane. It's just preseason. I get it. It means nothing. But just look at who's number 1 in pass defense and total defense, number 4 in rush defense. Just saying. Okay? Look, guys, one more time. Okay? You're looking at this Dotson deal. And hey, by the way, Bob, I get what you're saying. Third rounder for 500 yards and 45 catches. How about this, though, Bob? With Devontae Smith and AJ on your team, though. Okay? If that guy, if Jahan Dotson delivers 50 catches, 45 catches, and 550 yards and 5 touchdowns, that's a grand slam for what they want him to do. That would be a grand slam. Grand slam. Okay? Be a grand slam. A good coach is like a good father sometimes. You know, and I appreciate you guys immensely. Holy shit. Don't tell me we're at 225 likes already in the first hour. You guys are mauling it. One more time. I want to start this, or I want to make sure we're in the room here with this. This Dotson deal is perfect for that 3-hole. Did Howie maybe give up a little more on the third pick, like Bob says? I don't think so. Because if you remember what we were saying with Xander. Xander, I think you remember this. I want dependable at wide receiver 3. That's dependable. That's dependable and productive. That's dependable and productive. It's a good deal for both. Hey, love the show, how critical you are of the team. Keep it real. Would you make the trade for Bosa or Hendrickson later in the season by October? I don't believe Cincinnati will be out of it. Bosa, the only problem that I have with Bosa is that his history health always plays into that. Seals, I agree, but for Dotson to get those numbers and touches, either come from Goddard or Bart. We're going to talk. That's the next topic. That's the next topic, Bob. We're going to get into that as well. Absolutely. But, dude, the numbers hey, let's be fair here to Jahan Dotson. Who the fucking quarterbacks in Washington? Sam Howell? Jacoby Brissett? No disrespect, Jacoby. And I like you, but not as a prolific passer. I mean, right? I mean, I don't know. How do you know how good he is? This could be something like, hey, do you know this kid Dotson could actually be something like AJ Brown's numbers? Go back and look at him. Let me show you guys something about AJ Brown in Tennessee. And you tell me if you think these are elite numbers from AJ Brown. I could see Howie looking at it like this. AJ Brown's stats. I want to show you this here. Take a look at this. Do you think this is prolific? Here's AJ's stats when he was in Tennessee. 52 catches, 1,051. Okay, that's 60 yards a game and 50 catches a year. Next one, 70 catches, 1,075. These are Hunter Renfrow numbers. Cole Beasley, 63 catches, 869. Then when he gets to Philly, he's 88 and then 106. What happens if he gets into a good offense, this kid Dotson, and you find out kind of who he is? I'll tell you what it else does. It protects you on injuries. It protects you on an injury. The third rounder, Bob, is more than just the guy's numbers. It's a protection on an injury because the Eagles were lying to you in camp that they like the wide receiver room. They do not. A deal like this proves my point. When they get behind the mic, they lie to the media and you, the fans, every single day. They don't like the wide receiver room, or they wouldn't give up a 3 for him. That's not loving your wide receiver room. That's a lie. Never believe when you hear someone say, we really like the group. It's the cover for Howie. Okay? I'm awake, or you goes 40 points per game, Sills, and you'll surrender 41. I'm at the end of the day here, right? Hey, you probably can. I mean, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. You guys, again, one more time. You guys are killing it. We're gonna get into the other topic because, again, one more time, it doesn't change my opinion of your football team. It does enhance the offense, which means they got to rely on the offense a little more. Hey, you know what else is so good about this deal? You get him in a rookie year. You got a 5th-year option on the kid. And if he turns out to be something you really like, you have control of the kid for the next, 3 years, 4 years? Holy shit. What a great pick for a 3-hole guy. And again, the third round, Bob, is probably twofold for them in how they looked at it. They went like this. Well, yeah, what if one of the guys gets hurt? It's a protection on hurt. And also you're going to get more out of, dude, I know the guy was in the 2-hole in Washington. He wasn't in the 3-hole, so there's going to be less targets over there. Okay? Long sustaining drives cover up poor defensive play. So let me ask you something, Q. You got Saquon Barkley. You got Jahan Dotson. You've got Devontae Smith. You've got A.J. Brown. You really believe they're running the ball? You think they're running the ball? You've got 2 first-rounders now, wide receiver, and Goddard. You really believe they're running the ball? Okay, you really believe that Barkley's going to get $2,000? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get into that next because that ain't happening. Okay? That is absolutely not happening. By the way, guys, we appreciate it. Don't forget, Merrill Reese will join us at 4:30. Xander will join us at 3:30. Please hit the like button. We're so proud to have our friends at BetUS be part of our season coming up, and we are so proud to bring you along. If you guys are looking for a new football house this season, a new book, here it is, BetUS. Guys, your first 125% bonuses will be deposited all the way up until $2,000. 125%. Again, on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000, that's what they're going to do for you, man. Fantastic. Also, 200% in crypto bonuses. This is the home of Michael Vick. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. I'm telling you, if you want your own customized service representative, they'll give you your own account and they'll handle it throughout the entire football season. Live wagers on every single major game this coming season. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Appreciate you guys coming aboard. I want to get to Q here with his super chat. Thank you very much, Q. I appreciate it. Not saying they will. It's something they got to do. Can have long, sustaining drives with passing too. Also, wonder if JD covers the eventual DJ injury. Okay? Dude, Q, it's a good take, man. And it's a good trade. There's nothing wrong with this. They've upgraded. Again, you still haven't upgraded the biggest concerns of the team, though. It has really nothing to do with it. My opinion doesn't change. By the way, DraftKings came out with the NFL. We're going to get to the second topic here. Xander will join us at the bottom of the hour, and at 4:30, the legendary Merrill Reese will join us, and we'll get his takeaways from it as well. So, once again, I want to make sure before I give those odds out here, the Eagles get Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, a 5th-round pick in 25. The Commanders get a 3rd-round pick in 25 and 2 7s in 25. I think both teams came out. And I think both teams, like you said, I think there could be even something to the Brandon Ayuk deal where you send those draft picks and part of a package deal that you end up sending to San Francisco for Brandon Ayuk. That absolutely could be true. And then you would have Terry McLaurin And you could also, on the other side, have Brandon Ayuk. Okay? I mean, you do. Once again, guys, you continue to improve the side of the ball that didn't need much improvement. Got a new coordinator. You got a $10 million running back. You added another first-round pick to your offense. You do none of that over there. That's why it's still the same to me. Please hit the like button. Guys, do me a favor. Tell us where we are in the like button. We appreciate that very much, man. You guys have been absolutely sensational. James Jones. There could be still, I mean, look, do I think Jamar Chase or CD could be part of that? No, I don't. I don't think that could be part of it. Hey, Cheese, thank you. 285 likes. You guys absolutely are killing it. I think we have a shot at 500 today. So if you guys could please hit the like button. Thank you guys so much. We so appreciate you coming here because you know why? You have so many other opportunities and so many people are trying to do their damnedest to kind of put a dark cloud over things. No way. You guys refuse to let that happen. Thank you. We can't thank you enough. The super chats are wonderful, and we appreciate it. Seals panicking? Why would I panic? You haven't addressed your defense. Panic what? I mean, what panic? You guys scored 35 points and you give up 36. By the way, like I said, you were eighth in defense or eighth in offense last year. Okay. What does this make you? Sixth? Can you imagine if you guys end up ninth in offense this year with all of your talent, your dream team? A lot of pressure. Before I get to the second topic, DraftKings has come out with the MVP odds, best odds. Number 1, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Number 3, CJ Stroud, Houston Texans. Number 4, Jordan Love, guy you see week 1, September 6th. Green Bay Packers. Number 5, Jared Goff, Detroit Lions. Number 6, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Number 7, Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets. Number 8, Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers. Number 9, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals. And at number 10, Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys. There's your DraftKings favorites to win the most valuable player award. Allen 1, Mahomes 2, Stroud 3, Love 4, Goff 5, Lamar 6, Rodgers 7, Purdy 8, Burrow 9, and Dak Prescott number 10. There's a name not on that list there. I mean, went back and looked twice, too. What name's not on that list? Dan, we might kill the Packers. No. How are you going to kill the Packers? Who's stopping Jordan Love? Who's stopping Jordan Love? By the way, Jordan Love is the 4th favorite to win the MVP award. Who's stopping Love? Who's stopping Love? Okay, let's move on here. So, let's do our predictions here for player production and goals. Let's start with Saquon Barkley. Guys, please hit the like list. Holy cow, we're at 300 already. Fantastic, guys. Thank you. Mean it a lot. How many total yards do you think Saquon Barkley gets this year? 2,300. Look at this guy. Hold on. Oh, it went fast. It went too fast. I saw 2,300 total yards. That means over 400 touches. How many total yards do you think Saquon Barkley gets? Look at this guy, 4,000. Here you go. 2,300 yards. Guy's got 2,300 on there. Here's me. I say 900 rushing. I'm going to back the number up now because of the addition of Dotson. 450. No, excuse me. About 350. That makes him at 1,250 yards in total offense. And here, I'll show you why. So passing and yards rushing. So there's 350 yards from Barkley alone. How many yards does Goddard get? What's Goddard's numbers? Oh, I got to bring these down now. I wrote these down before I looked at the deal. You're paying a guy $15 million to get 600 catches or 600 yards and catches? That's a bust. That's a bust. Okay. I did say 650. 650 Goddard. That's 1,000 yards between Barkley and Goddard. Okay. Let's go with the new guy, Dotson. What do you think Dotson brings to the table? His average 500 catches, okay, or 500 yards. Something we're around 45 catches a year. That was in the two-hole. So what do you think Dotson gets? 700 yards? I'm going to go with what you guys are saying. Okay? You believe the DraftKings list? Why are they acting like we have no defense at all? Because you don't. We have proved our DB. You have not proved anything. If the linebackers are solid, and you haven't proved anything at your DB position. That is not true. Thanks for the super chat. You have not proved anything. Okay, let's do that. Okay. You know what? I got to go back and I got to go back and say this. I got to ask, because I'm doing what I think. I need to ask you what you guys think. Give me what you think Barkley's going to catch. How many yards do you think Barkley catches for? Yeah. Barkley. Let's do Barkley. Go, because I did my takeaways. And now, how many yards receiving does Barkley get? 500. 600. Probably 500. Okay? 300, 440. Why don't we compromise and say 500? Okay, 500. Okay, I think he's going to get around 950 rushing, something like that. Okay? 500. What do you think Dotson's going to bring to the table in receiving? Dotson, what will he bring to the table? His average 500 yards, two-hole guy. What do you think he brings? 450 yards? It's not horrible. 500? 600? 650? 500? How about we go 550? Okay? Compromise. There's 1,050, 2 players. Okay. How many yards from Goddard now? Your $15 million receiver, tight end. How many yards do you think Goddard gets? 800? 6 to 7. Damn. 1,009. 700. How about we compromise? 850. I like this one here. 850. 850. That's Goddard. That's 2,000 yards. So let's get to AJ. How many yards do you think AJ Brown gets this year? Receiving. How many yards AJ? 1,400? 1,500? 1,700? 1,300? 14. How about we do this? We compromise. 1,500 yards. This is pretty kind of down the average line, right? 1,500? Big track? We're good? All right. Okay. How many yards does Devontae Adams get? Or, excuse me, Devontae Smith get? Smith, 1,500, 1,400, 1,700, 1,500, 1,350, 1,500. How about we compromise? 1,400 yards. How many does you think Kenny Gainwell add to the mix? How much does Kenny Gainwell add? Receiving. $400? $500? $200, says Twiz. $350. Receiving. $350? So you guys believe that Jalen Hurts is going to go from a guy who's never thrown for 4,000 yards, let alone 3,900 yards, to 5,250 yards passing? Is that what you're saying you're setting the mark at? 5,200 yards? You really believe that he's going to throw for 5,250? The record's 54. So he's going to be 180 yards off the fucking all-time passing record in a new system with a first-year play caller with Hurts. Or with these two dudes working together. He's going to throw for 5,200, almost 5,300 yards. Let's do this too. How many touchdown catches do you think Barkley gets? How many touchdowns does Barkley catch? Prince has got Hurts this year going for 5,400 yards. Prince thinks Hurts is throwing for 5,400 yards. 3, 6. Barkley. How about we do 6? Okay. How many touchdown catches do you think Dotson has this year? 3, 7, 4. Dotson 5. Okay, let's go 5. That's 11. How many touchdown catches does Goddard get? How many does Goddard get? Guys, please hit the like button. 5. Goddard gets 3. 9. 7, 8. Well, how about we go with 7? That's 18. How many does A.J. Brown get? 7, 4, 13, 9, 15 for AJ, 12. How about we compromise? 13. Okay. How many does Devontae Smith get? How many does Devontae get? Smitty, 10. 12. 14. 8. 14. 14. 10. 8. Why don't we compromise? 11. So, you guys are setting the mark at Jalen Hurts this year in 2024 at 5,250 yards passing and 44 TD passes. Is that right? Is that what you're saying? Yes? Des the Hebrew says, I don't believe that. Wait a minute. This is what you guys added up. I took what you said. This isn't my takes. Seems, look at this. N91 seems about right. Maybe a few less yards. So you really believe that your quarterback's going to throw for 5,250 yards and 44 touchdowns. He's going to throw for $5,000. Oh my God. He's not that good of a passer. God. Here's my takes. Goddard probably have 600 yards. Barkley 350. Dotson, another 350. AJ, 1,400. And Devontae, 1,200. Comes out to 3,900 yards. It's about right. Comes out to about 3,900 yards, 3,920. It's about what he does. It's kind of who he is. 39. Hey, by the way, until proven otherwise, that's who he is. He's not proven any other thing any other year in his entire career where he's some prolific passer guy. You guys are suggesting because you have all this talent, he's going to be. We'll see. By the way, I've never seen a huddle like this for one guy. Well, I'll tell you what. The way you're talking, I'll say it to you. If you don't win the Super Bowl, it's a colossal fucking failure. Anybody with that kind of talent, any of the other quarterbacks with that talent, how about Lamar Jackson with that talent? You don't get to the NFC Championship game. It's a massive failure. I don't care what you think of it. Oh, wait a minute. You know what'll happen? You'll blame the D. You'll go and blame the defense. Because the defense would have let Hurts down, right? Well, the organization is building the team that the offense is going to carry the defense. You can't blame the defense because the organization is setting it up that way. They're going to build the defense, as Prince said, through the draft, which will take more time, and it's financially, get this, they don't pay any money over there so that they can make deals like this Dotson deal for the offense. The number one priority on the Eagles was not a number 3 wide receiver. It was an edge rusher or linebacker. And some depth at safety. 49ers have the talent and they have a better defense. Still couldn't beat Mahomes. Okay? Right. What makes you think you can? These numbers showing that there are not enough balls to go. That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. That's exactly the point I was making, Bob. There's not enough footballs to go around for all these yards that you think he's going to get. 46, 80, 35 in the air, 10 picks, 4 fumbles, 300 rushing. Absolutely unrealistic. Okay, completely unrealistic. Completely unrealistic. Acts like the defense does not win championships. I never said Kansas City won the Super Bowl last year because, oh, I see. Oh, so if Hurts doesn't produce and they don't go to the NFC title game this year, that's going to be because the defense sucked, not because Hurts sucked or couldn't carry. Your organization is building the team this way. You've built your team this way. You're 2 years behind on development on defense. It's not a rip. It's just when you go youth. Like I said, watch this. We bring this up all the time. Xander's going to join me in a second. But follow me here. Okay? How long does it take Nakobe Dean to develop? Going into his 3rd year now? How long has it taken Jordan Davis? Kind of still wobbling a little bit with his ability. Played pretty good the first 5 games of the year. Then after that, fell off the apple cart. Nolan Smith, we still don't know. Xander says it all the time, not ready to write him off. Okay, well, that's called development. Right? Eli Ricks. You know what he is yet? Well, Sills, he's got the, I know. Sills, Quinyon Mitchell, look, I know. Him, of all the rookies, might have the fastest. You know, why do you think Quinyon Mitchell might have the fastest growth going against AJ and Devontae? I mean, you can't have a better classroom test every day than going against Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. I can promise you this, the linebackers ain't going against Travis Kelce every down. Okay? Do me a favor, guys. You guys have been killing it. Please hit the like button. I don't even know where we are in likes right now. I think there's a shot at 500 likes today, man. You guys are just absolutely smoking it, and I can't thank you enough. By the way, I want to keep emphasizing this on this Jahan Dotson deal. Dude, it's a good deal. There's nothing wrong with this deal. Again, does it change my opinion of your team overall? No. 335, that's great. Please hit that like button. Let's see if we can get this bad puppy. By the way, don't forget Merrill Reese will join us at 4:30 as well. Let's get to Xander, who these guys did a really nice job prior to our show coming on. And John McMullen talking about Dotson. Hey, he averaged 15 yards a catch his rookie year, and he had 7 touchdowns his rookie year. And this is with shitty Sam Howell and them dudes and a really awful ownership. I actually like the kid, man. I mean, you know, Xander, did they get the production that they needed? But I don't think you really had the QB in the offensive system, plus also the O-line that they needed to get the football to him. All the touches were going and targets were going to Terry McLaurin. So obviously, you know, he's kind of a pseudo 2-3. So, you know, he's the 16th pick in the draft. You know, they surrender. Again, a 3rd round is pretty high. Okay. They get Dotson. They get a 5th rounder. Washington gets a 3rd round pick in 25, 2 7s, and a 25. What I think that deal does, Xander, is this. It protects you on injury and gives you more production at the 3-hole. Remember, we said dependable and reliable. Your takeaways on that deal?
Yes, I've had a chance to kind of simmer on the deal and think about it a little bit. I don't know how good this player is, to be honest. He was a 2022 first-round draft pick. I think he was drafted 16th overall. Now, it's a tremendous value for the Eagles to go and get a guy that's going to be here for 2, maybe 3 years. It's very workable money. I think it's like 1.5 this year, 2.7 next year, somewhere in that price range. From that perspective, I like it. I don't
Plus
know
the 5th-year option.
Yeah, but they're not going to pick that up, Sills.
You don't think he's that good?
Well, I don't. What's that 5th-year option going to be worth?
No, well, because it's the role he's in. Remember, he's in a 3-hole. So you got to remember, he's not going to make $35 million in that 3-hole.
Right.
His salary is going to be dictated on his production out of that 3-hole. Now, will he stay and want to test the market? Going to a better place to say, I'm a 2 and a 3, or I'm a 1? That's going to be something for him to determine. But remember, he's coming to Philly for one thing. We talked about it the other day. Last year, they got 36 receptions out of that. Well, this kid averages 45. That's the role they brought him in on. They have 3 years of control of the player at $1 million a year. And if he's productive and gives you 500 yards, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, 40 catches.
I don't even think you're getting that. I think this is insurance. I think it's insurance for AJ and Devontae. It gives you a better option at 3 than who they have. But I wouldn't get, you know, fans are super jacked about this guy. And look, I think it's great. Here's the bottom line is the Philadelphia Eagles got better today on offense. They got better. The football team got better. But I got a text from John McMullen after we went off the air, and I wasn't able to say this on the air. And John reaches out to various reporters in Washington. The first text he got back, which he sent to me, is this. He has a complete total lack of physicality as his number one problem. Very soft and a bit mopey. He's a solid route runner. So he's a first-round draft pick. They gave up on him quicker.
That's quite an indictment.
That's my point. And my, you know, the other thing is this town hates Jalen Reagor. They gave up on this guy faster than we gave up on Jalen Reagor.
So is Quez Watkins?
2 years, Sills, for a first-round draft pick? I mean, I get it. He doesn't have the same role here. I think it's going to work because of his role in Philly.
Yeah, but I don't like soft.
But this isn't it don't sound the Super Bowl alarms because we traded for a wide receiver 3. I think it's a good move. We needed to improve wide receiver 3. I think from that perspective, it's a good thing. But this guy's he's not going to be a huge difference maker.
He's not a game changer.
You know, I heard some of the stat projections. Guys, I would say 300 to 450 yards. Somewhere in that range is how many yards this guy's going to get. That would be my projection for him in the Eagle offense this year. Maybe it's more. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. I hope it's a lot more. But I'm factoring 1,500 on A.J. Brown. I'm factoring 1,300 on Devontae Smith. I'm factoring 800 to 1,000 on Dallas Goedert. I'm factoring 400 or 500 on Saquon Barkley. How many passing yards?
So you really think he's going to throw for 5,000 yards then?
I'm saying I don't, and that's where I'm struggling to see where the production of Dotson's going to come in. I mean, I have, with what I just added up, I have, what is it, 4,500 yards. I think that's an amazing season for Jalen Hurts. Something he's never done before. I'm already expecting
an amazing season for any quarterback.
For any quarterback, right? And you know, look, I like the player. I like the move. I would have made the move. So I don't want people to think I hate the move. I'm just cautioning you. This guy is not what people are making.
Boy, I'm disappointed to hear soft.
Yeah, I was disappointed to hear that as well. You and I are alike in that regard. That's what I love about AJ Brown. He ain't soft. Devontae Smith's not soft. Look, he's a third receiver here, Sills. He's the sixth option.
That's how I'm looking at him.
He's the sixth option. So
how about this? Andrew? Does he improve the third wide receiver hole?
100%. No doubt about it.
That's what you and I are saying.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Like I said, the bottom line of today is you can parse the trade and parse the play. The Philadelphia Eagles got better today. That's a fact. Now the rest of it is the context to that point. I think the underlying point, though, is we did get better. We got a better player at wide receiver 3. I think it's an upgrade, and it gives us a little bit of insurance with AJ.
Was that a number one need?
No. And that, look, I mean, you know, a lot of your opening segment that people were upset with was, I would have rather have heard of a trade today on the defensive side of the
Carolina trading that linebacker to Seattle, something like that.
Right. And you know, look, it's August 22nd. Howie Roseman. This does not mean Howie's done.
Nope.
But by the way, we did. We swapped a third and a fifth. A third round pick is a pretty good draft pick.
Huge pick.
That would have been what you needed to go the
Peyton Wilson.
Or to go the key defensive acquisition route if you wanted to trade for somebody on defense. That type of pick. Now I don't believe how he's going to go that route on the defensive side of the ball. I'm excited, but I think we improved an offense that really didn't need much improving.
I know.
And we kind of left the defense, which did need improving, and that's my problem with the trade. Like I said, everybody's saying I'm hating it. I still just rubbing off.
You're not hating.
I'm not hating it. Look, I think it's a good move. I don't think the guy is what he made. I don't think a team moved on from a first-round wide receiver after 2 years if he was this incredible player. So maybe he'll have a reignite. He'll relight the spark here in Philly, playing with Saquon and this offense, and maybe some of those things factor in. But
he's a Nazareth kid.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's some red flags here on this player, and I think they're fair to point out. But overall, I think it's a good move for Howie. I think we did get better. Now I want to see him make a move for the defense. That's
how about this? Can we? I didn't get Abe's super chat. If we could get,
I do want to hit on
And plus, Philly 500 has a comment.
Jordan Montgomery became a member. Jordan, thank you, man. We appreciate our members, man. They're the absolute best. And then Abe, here's Abe's super chat. I'll get the Philly 500 next.
Vic Fangio was the Eagles consultant for the defense in 22. They went to the Super Bowl. Main reason why we went. Could he do it again this season? Remember something. You had better personnel in 22. More experienced personnel in 22. Look at the people you had. Look at the production you had in 22. You had 4 guys with double-digit sacks. You had an interior lineman at every level. You had 2 guys with 300 total tackles at your linebacker, and you had an 11-sack defensive tackle, and your 2 ends were over 11 sacks apiece. And your edge rusher had 17. I mean, and your corner or your slot corner had 6 picks that led the NFL in picks and turnovers. That's a whole different team, that 22 defense. Okay, compared to what you're going into right now. And like I said, what really aggravates me sometimes is this made the offense better. You're adding a better player to a place that they needed to upgrade.
By the way, that doesn't mean you're going to produce better. It just means you upgraded on paper your roster. Right.
Now, here's something that Philly, I brought this up. He wants to see what he has in his defense first. Trade deadline. So trade deadline is not until the 8th week, 9th week of the season. That's a long way to be sitting there back on your heels, giving up 36 points a game. I'm not saying you're going to do that, but let me tell you something. like I'll say it again, Philly. I'll say it one more time. Xander, I kind of agree with him in what he says, but I kind of disagree in a way.
Yeah,
Your
look, I love
overall
Philly,
team
but
did not. Your overall team did not get better because your defense has not changed from August 21st to August 22nd. It's not changed. I mean, I don't care what you think. Nothing's
and look,
changed.
Philly, I hear your point, but wouldn't you? Don't I would argue that same point. That's what they should have been the approach on the offensive side. We needed a defensive guy now. You could have waited to the deadline for a wide receiver 3 if that's going to be the approach. We needed the defensive guy now. And so I'll add one more point, by the way. People aren't going to be happy with me today. You want to hear something wild? You know who the guy behind Dotson is in Washington right now is, right?
No.
Olamide Zacchaeus, the guy that was our wide receiver 3/4
Boy, I liked him.
That we let walk out the door.
I liked him last
Washington
year.
evaluated their 22 first-round draft pick.
Brian Johnson.
And said, send him. We'll move Olamide up. Now, that could change if they go and make a trade for like Brandon, something like that. But, boy, I tell you what.
That's Brian Johnson.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, don't go crazy on this guy, everybody. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be an upgrade.
Yes.
I don't think he's the end all be all.
No,
I don't think he makes us a Super Bowl contender. I think he marginally improved an offense that really probably didn't need much improving in the first place. And that would be my one thing on it. But I do think Howie did pretty good. I mean,
he did. Again, you know what's hard about this? Two things can be true, Xander. It's a good deal. Both people, okay, I think Washington got they got a 3rd rounder and 2 7s. Hey, I don't know about you, but that's exactly how you do when you want to cover it. Now, again, he's a 16th pick. Holy shit. That 3rd round pick next year in the April draft has to be somebody in the room for Washington for them to be able to say we won that deal. But 16th pick and 3rd round, and now you get to put him, get this, you get to put the 16th pick in the draft in the 3-hole on your team. That's a win for Philly.
No doubt. Did we miss a super chat? By the way, I want to make sure we get everybody's been great today with the support of the show. We appreciate everybody. Did we hit this one? No.
This move is about having
number 2. If Brown or Smith get hurt, not about a playmaking depth piece. Sean, you're right, and that's what I think. That's what Howie's mindset was going into this trade, which makes it good. Like I said,
that's why the 3rd
perspective. Okay, it's a good move. I would agree with it from that perspective. I just don't think we added a guy that's going to, be a big impact on the offense.
Let me add this to also this here. And I think this is why people are excited. Can one side of the football carry a football team to a Super Bowl?
What was that? Sorry, say that one more time.
Can one side of a football team carry a team to the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, you've seen it in modern times, but typically you need both sides. Now, the Chiefs of a couple years ago, you kind of did see that, right? Where one side led them. But I try not to use them because I think Patrick Mahomes is an exception. And last year, asked Patrick
Mahomes. He affects
Mahomes,
that defense. He does.
Well, last year, that defense really helped that football team.
Oh,
you're talking about a team that was mediocre midway through the year. We beat them, in Kansas City last year. And that defense was rock solid.
Andrew, I didn't think that offense in Kansas City was really hitting on all cylinders.
It wasn't. You're correct. It was not. It was not. So it's, I think you can do it. And I think maybe that's what the Eagles are banking on here. They're hoping that this offense is so good that, we might give up 26 a game, but we're going to score 32 a game. So, maybe
that means no mistakes by the offense then.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're putting a lot of pressure on the offense. So me and John did a show this morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on Birds 365. This was before the trade broke. We're talking about offensive expectations. We're like, we think it's going to be top 5. The ceiling, though, is the best offense in the NFL. That's what their ceiling realistically is if they play at their best.
That's what you're paying for.
So how much are you improving on that is my point. Let's say we got a guy on defense, or we traded for a playmaker at linebacker, or a safety, or whatever. Pick a spot on the defense you want to improve. Let's say we went that route. You have the chance to improve, let's say, a 20th ranked defense to a 10th versus a top 5 offense to a top 5 offense. There's not that much improvement to be had there because it's already so good. Now, look, I think everybody's right who's saying, Xander, it's insurance. It is. That's what it is. But
But it's also an improvement in the
I don't want
three.
everybody to get carried away. Like, I don't know what the Jahan Dotson over-unders are on BetUS right now for his yards this season, but don't go crazy if it's over 500 yards. I don't think he's
Absolutely would be. If you got 40 catches and 500 yards out of that guy and 5 touchdowns, that's a grand slam.
It's a grand slam. It's a grand slam. You're right.
Okay. So I wrote down what everyone in the projections were. Hurts is going to throw for 5,250 yards and 45 touchdowns. With everyone.
What was that? 4,000 what? 4,500?
No, 5,250 yards and 45 touchdowns with Goddard, Barkley, Dotson, AJ, and Smitty. He said that everyone in here put the number now, and Hurts' bottom floor is now 5,250 yards passing and 45 touchdowns. You think he's in that room?
Look, I think Jalen has his best year ever in the NFL. I've said that consistently all summer. I think Kellen Moore is a home run fit for this football team and for Jalen Hurts specifically. I don't think he's a 5,000-yard passer. And I don't think that's a knock on Jalen. There's not many quarterbacks that are. How many quarterbacks have thrown for 5K in history?
Joe Burrow hasn't.
Yeah. So, look, I think, like I said, remember, I was on here a couple days ago, and I told you, best season ever for Hurts, maybe close to 4,500 yards. You looked at me like I had 14 heads.
I still do.
I think he does get to that point. I think Kellen Moore puts him in a more pro-style offense. I think he spreads the football around him more. I think Dallas Goedert has a lot more yards this year if he can stay healthy. I think 4,300 to 4,600, somewhere in that range with around 30 I know. That's my point. I'm projecting.
So you're saying he's going to throw for 1,400 more yards than any year he's ever thrown for?
1,400 more. He threw for 3,800 last year.
Okay.
I'm saying.
But now you're saying he's going to throw for 4,500.
Yeah, 700 more.
Okay,
I said 43 to 46. So yeah,
I'm still stuck on the 5,250 that everyone. Okay, my bad.
5,250 is insane. I don't know anybody that's going to throw that this year, but I think Philly 500 puts a good number in there. 4,278. I think somewhere in that ballpark. I think his passing touchdowns go up a little bit this year. I think he's not going to be able to rely as much on the legs in the red zone, and I think you're going to see around a 30.
How come everyone in the entire league sees 35, 25, and 21 touchdown passes, and the only people in Philly are the only people?
Well, what do you say? What do you say?
I think 20. I think 38. The key number for him is turnovers. It's not the yardage, and
but he just had a training camp where he didn't turn the football over at all, and everybody's trying to tell me he wasn't throwing the ball down the field. I read every single day from John McMullen and from all the other beat reporters in the room that he had 45-yard touchdown to Devontae, 45-yard touchdown to AJ, a big throw to Dallas. He was still pushing the ball down the field.
How good is that defense?
He's a smart guy. That's what I love. That's why one of the things I love about Jalen Hurts. He's a very smart guy. He knows he can't turn the football over. He doesn't need to be Josh Allen, Sills. He doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes.
One of my major concern here, going in as it always has been, is your defense and your secondary. And when Hurts is completing every football for 4 weeks and a week, for 5 weeks, this guy hadn't thrown a pick the entire time, and they really hadn't made a play on him. I mean, how good has your defense been performing in camp? There lies my question marks.
The pass rush has been pretty good in camp.
I'm talking about cover.
Yeah, I mean, look, here, if you would,
they were 31st a year ago too.
Yeah, Philly 500 put in, so I'm going to bring them up real quick. 42-78, 31 touchdowns, 11 ints, and 10 rushing. See, Philly, I'm going to go with the under on the ints. I think Hurts has a low year on interceptions this year. I think he goes for 7. Back to that number of what he was, I believe, in 22. It was 7 or 9 or somewhere in there.
7.
I think he's going to be sub 10 in interceptions this year, and it's going to be a big year for him, but I don't see 5,000 yards.
Patrick Mahomes has 2 5,000-yard seasons and 1 50-touchdown season. Hey, dude,
Patrick Mahomes is unbelievable, man.
Hey, I'm getting sick. Do you see what Kevin Stefanski said about Mahomes? Kevin Stefanski said this guy's the Steph Curry of the NFL. He's just this guy's reinventing the quarterback position with the shit that he's doing here.
So
22,
so
this
is absolutely insane. Can I give you a stat real quick on Patrick Mahomes, just to revel in how actually good this guy is? I mean, we thought when Brady retired, it'll be forever till we see somebody that good. I think Patrick Mahomes is better from a talent perspective. You know what Patrick Mahomes' stat line was? His first year starting, 2018, his first year starting. You know what his stat line was?
Hit me.
66% completions, 5,097 yards, 50 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
His
with
first year?
With a 113.8 rating. His first year starting. That is insane, my
and
friend.
He came from Texas Tech.
That is absolutely unbelievable. Season.
Hey, get this. He didn't have a winning record at Texas Tech.
I can't get over that stat line. I can't get over that stat line. I never even realized he put together a season like that, albeit his first season in the starter as the starting quarterback. He threw for 284 yards the year before that.
Hurts also misses games. His passing yards would be much higher. He played all 17 last year. Okay? He played all 17 last year.
Yeah, I mean, look, he threw 3,800 last year. He had no check down. Minimal work, minimal anything from the wide receiver through. I think it's a different style of an offense this year. I think Kellen Moore is a much different style than we've had in the past, and I think it's going to benefit Jalen really well. And more importantly, I think it's going to benefit all the weapons around Jalen Hurts, and that's why I said we don't need Hurts to be Mahomes. We don't need him to be Josh Allen. We don't need him to be Joe Burrow. We have great players on this football team. Hurts can be a 4,500-yard quarterback with 30 touchdowns and 7 interceptions and not even be playing his best ball. Just don't turn it over. Get the ball in the hands of the playmakers a little bit.
So you're completely now buying into the fact that pretty much you had the same talent you had a year ago, okay, that Kellen Moore is completely the difference from Brian Johnson in why this thing is going. So you're in that camp. It was Brian Johnson that fucked the offense up, that finished 8th.
Well, no, I don't want to go there. I think Brian Johnson's being scapegoated a little bit. I mean, you've said it in the past where it's like it was Brian Johnson calling the plays, but it was Nick Sirianni's offense. Like, how do you bridge that as an offensive coordinator who's calling plays when it's not your offense?
And playing the political game.
But here's the thing. Shane Steichen did it. It wasn't Shane Steichen's offense when he was here. It was Nick Sirianni. At least that's what they said. It was Nick Sirianni's the same way. So you did see it before. I just think it got stale. I think they didn't have fresh ideas. I think they kept going back to
they went simple.
Stopped working. Right. And, I think Kellen Moore, at least, I think the benefit of change is going to help this offense this year. And I'm more banking on that. I'm not saying that Kellen Moore is the savior. I think the offense had the talent in the room last year.
They did. They were 8th.
I think fresh set of eyes, a fresh ideas, some fresh systems, some fresh play calls, motion, change some things around. I think it's going to help this offense a lot.
Hurts will have a 450-yard passing game versus the Panthers. Hey,
Bald Eagle. We're going to be at 42-0 if that happens, and they're probably going to take them out in the third quarter because, good Lord.
I can't wait for this year. Let me ask you here now, homeboy. Hey, don't forget, by the way, we got Merrill Reese coming up. I can't wait to hear him on the deal, too. Get his thoughts here.
He's going to be stoked. Penn State guy, Merrill Reese.
Oh, absolutely. He's a big Penn State guy here. So let me ask you just in shits and giggles here. Now with this new high-powered best show on turf, like the Rams teams of Kurt Warner, A.J. Brown, let's revamp it here. How many yards does he get this year?
I got 1550.
Okay, hold on here. I'm going to do the Xander Krause deal here. He gets 1550, AJ. How many does Devontae Smith get?
I got 1,300.
Oh.
1,250 to 1,300. Call it 1,300.
1,300.
Devontae is a big year this year. I think he shows the league how good he really is.
How much does Dotson get?
400.
400. Okay. 12. Okay. How much does Goddard get?
850, 900, somewhere in that range. I thought he'd be a 1,000-yard guy, but I don't know if I see it with just how many weapons are on the offense.
Okay, so it's compromise. 850?
850, yep.
Okay. Okay. And how many yards does Barkley get out of the backfield receiving?
I think the running backs as a unit, so him and Gainwell, will get collectively 500 yards.
Barkley and Gainwell.
So maybe Gainwell is 100 and Barkley is 400, somewhere in that range.
So 500.
500 between the two, though.
Yeah, between the two. So you got Jalen Hurts throwing for 46.50.
Well, I said 43 to 46, so that makes sense. Maybe I'm a little bit lofty on a couple of those guys. You could probably dock 100 yards from Devontae. You could probably dock 100.
I'm going to tell you where I'm going, is that Barkley's impact is going to be minimized because I think he's not going to run the ball, dude, as much as people. You get this, Xander. You really think you just acquired a number 1 wide receiver or a first-round pick to go in the number 3 hole? You got two $25 million wide receivers, and you got a $15 million tight end and a $10 million back that they're going to turn around and carry the ball and run the ball 25 times a game? No.
Yeah, I doubt that. You're right. I mean,
okay. So, Xander, if he's between 800 and 900 rushing, but he has 5 yards a clip, they're going to take the production because he's moving the sticks with his rushing. But if he adds, like you say, 400 or 500 yards receiving, and he puts you into 1,400 round, and plays 14 games, 15 games, he's giving you 90 to 100 yards. Don't you think that that's exactly what they're asking him to do if they can get 90 to 100 yards out of him per ball game?
Yeah. I wonder about the comment that we just had on somebody who said, shoot, I forget what they said. I'd like to find the comment if I could, but I think it was the comment about having a 450-yard game. I don't think that's going to be possible because I think that's going to be Saquon's role, is he's going to close out games for this football team. And most of his yards are probably going to come in the second half of games when we have leads and you need to get a first down. You need to run that clock out and the pass protection. I mean, that's what it's looking like makes the most sense for Barkley, because you're right. They didn't just trade another third rounder for a wide receiver after paying Devontae, after paying AJ.
To run the ball.
They're not going to run the rock like
that. Run the ball.
No,
they're not.
You're right.
Now this goes back to, again, a comment that you made. So Jalen Hurts is not going to look anything like 22. It's going to be nothing remotely close to.
Well, I said that from jump.
We're going to see a completely different Jalen Hurts here because I think they're going to throw the ball 35 times a game.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate, to be honest with you. I think.
Xander, let's do this. How many catches do you think AJ gets a game?
Oh, a game. That's tough to do, dude. Let me look at the Eagles. I have to look at.
Well, he had 106 last year.
Well, how many a game is that an average?
Probably 7.
Right, 17 games. It's obviously, so I guess around 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he gets 100 catches again for what it's worth.
Okay, there's 6. And what's his name had about 90, so he's probably at around 4 catches.
5, yeah, called 5.
5 catches. Goddard is probably going to get 3 catches a game?
3, yeah, 3.
Okay, 3. And you're going to get Dotson probably 2.
I think maybe even a little less. Yeah, I guess 2.
16. Barkley's going to get how many, you think?
I'd say 2 to 3.
Okay.
We're in that range.
Okay. So Jalen's going to have 20 completions a game. For you to do that.
Well, he's going to throw 30 passes and have a 66% completion.
He's probably going to have to throw the ball probably between 30 and 35 times to get that number.
Well, if you throw the ball 35 times, that's a pretty low completion percentage. I think Hurts' completion.
No, that's 65. Well,
66% would be if he threw the ball 30 times a game.
What do you think he's going to go, 33 or 20?
I think he's going to go 20.
He's never been over 60. He's never been over 64%, 65%. We got to hang in there with what his average has been.
Yeah, I think Kellen Moore is going to help the completion percentage.
Well, the check downs will help that.
The check downs will help.
The check downs will help that.
The field, I think motion. Yep. I think a lot of things are going to help Jalen Hurts in the passing game.
The check downs will help that. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, last year he was 65%. The year before that, he was 66.5%. I mean, 21 was his worst year as a full-time starter, and it was 61.3%. I think he's right in that range. I think he's 65. I think he's between 65 and 70, somewhere in that range.
I think he's going to have to throw the ball to get 20 completions. I think you're going to have to throw the ball like 30 some odd times.
Yeah, I'm all right.
I mean, he's not going to go 29. I'm
all right with that. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay, I mean, so
do you have a problem with that? Throwing the ball?
No. Well, 20 completions. Oh, let's see. That's over 500 completions you're saying he's going to have this year in his career.
No, that's not what that would be.
Okay, well, watch this. If he has 20 completions a game, over 10 games is 200.
That's 200.
Okay, 7
more is 180.
Add another 7.
Yeah, it's 160 more. That's 360 completions. Last year he had 352.
That's 352?
No, last year he had 352. If we did off that math, that would be 360.
360. That's what he had a year ago?
No, it'd be 340. That's right. Cheese, you're correct. 340. Drop 3. Yep.
Okay.
I think we're right on the numbers, man. I really do.
See, I think that 4,500 is way out of hand. I just know because I don't think he's that good of a passer.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think he's a really good dual threat guy. I don't think he's a great passer. Well, hey, by the way, here's what we have to understand. He's never exhibited that winning just from throwing out of the pocket.
Yeah, but he needs to throw the ball more doesn't take away
his legs to win.
Yeah, but it doesn't take that away. It's just going to be used in different moments. It's not going to be as much of a focal point.
Nobody feared his arm. They feared his mobility in 22.
Yeah.
They feared his mobility, dude. They didn't fear his arm.
He also threw for 300 and change in the Super Bowl, Sills. I mean, to say he doesn't have an arm is foolish.
You think a guy throwing for 3,800 yards is a prolific passer in this league?
I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth.
No, you're moving.
Situations are going to call for.
He's not a consistent pocket passer.
Okay, it's a different offense this year. Are you projecting that?
That's right. It's a different offense that none of us have seen.
Yeah, and it's a pass-heavy offense that has a lot of motion, a lot of throwing the ball over the middle. This is a different look for Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to thrive in it. I really do.
AJ 130, Barkley 110, Goddard 70, Dotson 70, or Goddard 70, Dotson 60 versus the Panthers. Okay, Panthers more efficient because more yards. I'm not sure. I think you're talking about checkdowns and shit like that. That's what you're talking. Okay. I think the checkdowns are going to be a factor because you know why? Here's what's going to be the prominent thing that's going to happen in that Packer game. They're going to blitz the shit out of him and they're going to see if they can pick that shit up. Okay. They're going to blitz him. My question comes down to this. If you throw the ball so much, Xander, and early on in the year, you get a couple 3-and-outs against that Packer team, they'll put 21 up on you. That defense is not ready yet. Okay? It's just not ready.
I think you're wrong about Jalen Hurts. I think you're right about the defense. I think this defense does have questions all over the thing. I wish today.
How can I be wrong about Hurts when he's never exhibited it?
Well, your projection is that, and look, I respect your projection because I understand where you're coming from. You haven't seen it. You're not going to project hope. I'm perfectly good with that. In my projections, I believe Jalen Hurts will be a better quarterback than he's been in the past. That is stipulated into my projections.
Okay.
Yours are, this is what I've seen. This is what his numbers show. This is what he's going to be. I don't think he's going to have a linear career. He hasn't since I've been following the guy. I was at his first ever game in college in Jerry's World versus USC. He wasn't even supposed to start that football game, and he trounced the USC Trojans 52-6, and I was in attendance. I've watched him since that moment. He's never been linear.
Let me ask you this.
I don't think he's going to be linear anymore. I think
you're paying for a projection now, whereas you paid for something you saw in 22 that you're not doing anymore. Is that facts?
Well, isn't every contract you give in the league somewhat paying?
No, I'm talking styles of play. You're changing his style of play.
Well, you're not really, because you don't, just because you have a pass.
You think he's going to run the ball 175 times this year?
No, I think that's a good thing. Why would we want him to run the ball 175 times?
That's the point. He's going to be more of a passer. That's something he's not done in his 3 years.
Okay, so you don't think he's going to be a good passer?
I don't think he's the passer you think he's going to be yet. I think that develops time.
I'll agree to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I believe he's going to pass more, and I think he's going to do it properly. I think he's going to do it.
Last year he passed more and had more turnovers.
Yeah. Last year's a tough one. I mean, come on. Last year's a tough one to.
You can hang on 22, but you can't go back and look at 23 and also look at the players.
I'm not saying to remove it. I think you're right to look at it, but I'm not gonna project that the rest of Jalen Hurts' career is going to be what it is because of what he did in 23. That was a stale offense. It looked ugly. Nobody produced at the end of the year. Not AJ. Devontae was the only guy who did a damn in the last 7 or 8 games. I'm not going to project the rest of his career on that. I believe he gets better. I believe we have a better offensive coordinator. I believe we have more talented weapons. I think AJ Brown this year will be better than A.J. Brown last year. I think Devontae Smith this year is going to be better than Devontae Smith last year. Saquon Barkley, I don't think that about. I think he is what it is at this point. But I think Jalen gets better. I think those two guys get better. And I think that means your offense gets better.
Hit the like button here. Guys, our good friends at BetUS. By the way, I got 2 more questions for Xander. And then the legendary Merrill Reese will join us at 4:30 here. Hey, a lot of waving today, baby. Let's not – hey, I'm inviting everybody.
Even I ripped the Dotson trade. Everybody was pissed at me in the chat.
No, I got it, man. I'm
again because I told them Jalen's going to be good.
Hey, I'm kind of shocked. Xander goes, who is this guy? Hey, folks, you know who BetUS is. It's the brand new sports book that JAKIB Sports and all of us here have teamed up with BetUS, and we want you to become part of that. It's a great partnership for the upcoming football season. If you're looking for a new book, right now, get this, folks, 125% bonuses on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000. All you have to do is be part of that. 200% also in crypto. You getting bonuses. Home of Michael Vick. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts here all over the country. You get them. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Be back in 15 seconds, everybody.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Yes, sir, baby. That Crow, man. Everyone keeps saying Crow.
They're
Hurts is going to throw.
They're cooking it. They're seasoning it in the kitchen. They got salt, pepper, oregano, garlic. They're putting everything on that Crow, baby.
Yards.
What'd you say?
The 4,500 yards. How many touchdowns he going to throw for, Xander?
I said 30. I think 30.
Holy shit, man! I got to. Hey, this show is going to have to be archived August 22nd. I couldn't believe what I heard. Who the fuck is Jahan Dotson? I was like, damn, Xander. Who he goes? Hey, pump the brakes. This guy's soft as Quez Watkins. He's got Queasy Watkins disease. And you're like, they'll go like, what?
Oh, man. We'll see, baby. I think it's a big year for this team. I really do. I think it's a big year. But
it's a big year. It was a big year for your offense last year.
Yeah. And they didn't deliver.
You still are not addressing. Okay. Do you think Howie makes?
Oh, don't hit me with that, Sills. I've addressed that more time. I've addressed that so many times. My head was spinning. I was so ready to move off it.
Do you think Howie addresses the defense yet before the start of the season?
I think there's a chance. That's the one thing with Howie. You know, it's easy to react in the moment and question, okay, why didn't he trade for a defensive guy today? You can never count Howie out. Howie's always working. He's always looking for something. He'll always figure something out. So if he believes, or maybe even if Vic Fangio tells him, I need better guys on this defense, I believe Howie will go out and do it, just like he did at wide receiver 3. You know, I think the defense was more important than the wide receiver 3, but they obviously opted to go this route. Maybe it was the only guy that was available, and the defensive trades are harder to make. I think Howie's a little bit – remember, you know, somebody put it in the chat earlier, and they were spot on. We got a lot of money tied up in this offense, Sills. They can't really trade for a defensive guy that needs a new deal. So that limits your trade pool. You would have needed a guy – you would have needed a guy that somebody wanted to move on from on that rookie contract. And that's hard to do, right? So
you'd have to trade for a guy with an established contract that you didn't have to renegotiate. Right. And if you did, you renegotiated the money down off the base.
No, you're right.
A really great take. I mean, it really is. But hey, at the end of the day here, do you think the owner had something to do with this?
What, Dotson?
Yeah.
I'm going to go no with that. But
surely went everything by that guy.
I mean, yeah, you can't rule it out because this is Philadelphia and this is Jeffrey Lurie's team, and he loves to be a hands-on owner. But I don't think so. I just think it's too small. I think it's easy because I've talked to John all off season. I've covered every day at training camp. We go live before, during, and after the practices. We have people on beat reporter. I listen to your show every day. everybody's been talking about the wide receiver 3 in Philly, almost like we don't have two guys that are the top 2 duos in the league. It almost got confusing to me that we talked about it so much, but I was a part of those conversations, so I could take some accountability there. But it was the thing. It was the thing that everybody wanted. You got to improve the wide receiver room. And I liked Johnny Wilson. I like Britton Covey, but we did upgrade it. I just would rather see a defensive move, but we'll see what they do. I'm not going to count Howie out yet.
How about this one here? Well, obviously they were bullshitting everyone when they said they liked the room. Hey, they were saying to you, we really like our guys.
It ain't the first time the Eagles have bullshitted you, and it won't be the last. Ready, Troy? So Troy puts a good comment in here, right? And I'm going to tell you why this is why I'm concerned about Dotson. Troy says you don't let bums develop, you cut them. Well, Troy, then why do we just get Dotson?
Because it's a 3-hole roll.
My point is, why did Washington move on from a guy after 2 seasons that had 500 yards and he's a first-round draft pick?
Because they saw him as a 1 or 2.
Because they saw him at what Troy says right here. They believe he was a bum.
Yeah.
And they let him out the door.
Well, because get this, Howie's not bringing him in for only 2 reasons, like you said, injuries, and he's a 3-hole guy. The Eagles don't look at him as a 1 or 2. They look at him as a 3-hole guy and insurance. That's why they surrendered to 3.
Yeah, and from that
perspective, the 3 is more for insurance than anything else.
Well, and look, and that's what we talked about when I first got on here, and I think that's correct. If that's the approach and that's the reason why you get Dotson, then it makes complete sense. If people are expecting him to be some sort of big impact on the offense, I would urge you to think otherwise, because I don't believe he's that player. I don't believe he has the capabilities to be that player. And he's on a team that has 5 options in front of him. I believe A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts are all options before Dotson sees the ball. So just temper the expectations on the stats. I do think it's a good move for depth, though.
I believe he meant Kellen's scheme gets players open and mismatches, which is why they traded for Dotson. AJ and Smitty will be moving into the slot. He can go outside. Gives him the versatility.
Great take, Prince. That's a great take. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm telling you that Dotson's not going to have the stats, but maybe this means that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith get more stats because they're able to now move around a little bit and have the right offense to have a guy on the outside. Prince, great take, brother.
Yeah, Bald Eagle, we kind of think, a lot of people thinking that that's what's going to be in a package to send to San Francisco. I'll tell you what, Terry McLaurin and Brandon Ayuk on each side of Jaden Daniels, because I can't – you know what kills me on this? Last thing here, Xander.
Yep.
The thing that kills me the most, though, is you got Jaden Daniels. You're getting rid of people, and if you really think he was a bum, okay, and you're doing it inside the division, which is even weirder, 2 weeks to the start of the season. Okay, all right, you don't really like the guy. The Eagles kind of like the guy for the role they're looking at, but aren't you trying to acquire people that can catch and play for your young, new, talented quarterback? I mean, dude, he's won the starting job. He's going to start the starting of the season for Washington. This is what leads me, and I have to believe that this is an Ayuk deal. They're going to go get Brandon Ayuk here.
And that might be what it is. And that would make a lot more sense. Because like I said earlier, I mean, the guy behind Dotson right now in Washington, they just traded a first-round pick, admitted they failed miserably 2 years ago by selecting him number 16 overall, and they elevated Olamide Zaccheaus, the guy that we just let walk out the run. Like, if they don't trade for Ayuk, this looks a lot worse for us. I got to be honest. But we are Philly, and we don't, they're in the NFC East, so I don't think we want them to get Ayuk either.
Absolutely. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Xander, where are we in the like list?
We're killing it, man. 393, 688.
Holy cow.
Oh, man, everybody is absolutely killing it today, Big Sills.
Absolutely, guys. We have a shot at 500 today.
Sills, I'd like you, if you're up for it, I don't want to do it. We'll do a little business on air here. It might be good for you to get John McMullen on in hour 3 if you have the spot for him.
If he's available and if he wants to.
Just because he got some updates from the Commanders reporters to give you on Jahan Dotson, I think they could be worth something to the show.
Absolutely, man. So, again, coming up here at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have our friend Merrill Reese on. But if you want to get John on after that, man, we would love to have that because I'd love to hear John and talk to him about some of the things in camp, because I know he and I see eye to eye on some things. We don't on other things.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you can catch those guys on Birds 365. They do a sensational job. Please hit the like button. Xander, great conversation. Actually, I was kind of perplexed there when I heard you go like this. Who the hell is Dotson? The kid from Penn State? Oh, I got it. Mr. Cream Puff. Okay. I mean, he's got Queasy Watkins disease.
Wait, I'll read you the message I received one more time. He has a complete, total lack of physicality is number one problem. Soft and a bit mopey. That's word for word. He also said he's also a good route runner. So you got a good route runner. Look, I think he can be something in that role, but
so you got a good route runner. That's a bitch.
There's a lot of things you can have. There's a lot of knocks you can have about a player, right? Maybe my least favorite one is soft and a bit mopey. That's like as bad as it gets. I'd rather say you have crappy hands or you drop the ball sometimes or you can't run routes. It's like, oh my Lord.
Holy cow, man. He's soft and he's mopey. Holy
Mopey, Sills. That's a tough adjective, man. That's a tough
mopey.
Adjective.
Holy, and that's got to be a John McMullen special. Mopey.
I don't know. It wasn't John. It wasn't John. It wasn't from John. Somebody told that to John, though.
John Mopey.
Soft and mopey.
Soft and mopey. Hey, are you doing a special show?
No, we're done for the day after Big Sills today. We'll have clips all night long. So for anybody that missed part of the show today, I'll post out my clip. I'll post out your reaction on Dotson. If we get John on, we'll have Merrill's clip posted up. So tons of content coming on the channel tonight, but no live show on Birds 365 tonight.
That means catch you tomorrow right after Farzetta. So we appreciate you doing this each and every single day, Xander. Thank you so much.
Sills, thank you, brother. Catch everybody tomorrow. Thank you, everybody in the chat. You guys are the best viewers on YouTube. Can't thank all you guys enough.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. You're absolutely killing it. Please hit the like button. Guys, get this. We're at 416 already. I think we do have a shot at 500. And it's all because of you. Really. Merrill Reese, the legendary voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, will join us at the bottom of the hour. 4:30 Eastern. Hit that like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
the greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills, hit the like button. Wow, are you guys killing it? Over 430 already out of the gate. Must be football season right around the corner. By the way, word is Cooper DeJean is going to play this weekend on Saturday versus the Minnesota Vikings. That's a great sign. Now, next week they have, an off week. Then the following week they come back. So what kind of impact could he make in that Packer game? Very minimal. There's no way that Vic is going to roll him out there and not having really seen a lot of live action. Now, depending on what they do in training camp, they broke camp. So what they're going to do in practice here, I think that's a great sign, though. It shows you when you're young. Please hit that like button, by the way. ESPN, Bill Barnwell came out with a list of football teams that are most likely to go in decline in 2024. Andres says, I told you he'd play, Sills. He ain't playing against the Packers. He's not playing against the Packers. Number 1, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 2, I don't know how much further down you could go. You're the Giants. That has to be the second worst football team in the league next to the New England Patriots. Number 3, the Ravens will take a step back. Number 4, according to ESPN's Bill Barnwell, the Philadelphia Eagles will take a step backwards. And number 5, the Cleveland Browns. So your teams that Barnwell at ESPN believes that will take a step backwards this year will be Steelers, Giants, Ravens, Eagles, and Browns. Not Big Sills. That's not a Big Sills list. Okay? Been a long-time Eagle fan. As much as you criticize us, you state facts. I particularly feel the same way, and mainly because our lackluster defense. Hey, Vaz, do me a favor here, because you sound like you have some reasoning here, okay? I'm not saying you're eventually not going to be a good defense. Defense takes a little bit more time with younger players. Look what the Cowboys have just done. As much as, was it today or yesterday? They signed Linval Joseph. Why are they signing Linval Joseph and making a trade with the New York Giants to fix up the defensive tackle position? Because they're coming to grips that Mozzie Smith can't do it. He's not going to have the impact they thought he was. You know, Mark Holmes, who was on with us yesterday, doesn't want to admit it, but Mozzie Smith is not going to be the player that they drafted. You're now making moves to cover for that mistake. You're signing a 35-year-old Linval Joseph. And then you're trading another defensive tackle. Okay? Because why? They've come in going, get this. They didn't even give Mozzie Smith a second year. And the Cowboys are already seeing the writing on the wall. He's one-dimensional. You know what that is? He's somewhat of a decent run stopper, but he's not going to make flash plays. Here, how about this? Jordan Davis is Reggie White compared to him. That's how much better he is than Mozzie. Hey, look, I'm critical of Jordan Davis, but Jordan Davis is a good football player. And the problem that I have with him, I hate his laziness. And it bugs me. Okay? He's a talented guy. Nobody runs Josh Allen down like that at 348 pounds. Nobody. Nobody runs a guy like that down that size. When you watch him make a play like that, you go, fuck. That guy played like that every down. He'd be the most dominant. You want to hear something about Jordan Davis? That is actually the most. Xander, maybe this is why I'm with him on this. Me, you know what the frustrating thing about him is? I think he could be the most dominant defensive tackle in the NFL. But he's never played to that, even at Georgia. 9 sacks in 4 years. What are you, nuts? 37 tackles in 4 years? Dude, had 30 tackles in 2 games. I mean, come on, guy. You don't live up to your talent set. That's the frustrating thing about Jordan Davis. Carter lives up more to his hype. Jordan Davis doesn't live up to his hype. Okay, get this, though. See, Yale, this is where I disagree with my friend Yale. It's defensive linemen burst onto the scene quicker than offensive linemen. That's why the majority of the time you don't really see great old linemen until their mid-20s, from 25 until about 35. And you see most of the offensive linemen that are really great. Look at the great guys in the game today. Lane Johnson, Trent Williams. These are all older guys. A defensive tackle, boom. Didn't take Aaron Donald 3 years. You knew right away. Now, Aaron Donald's different. But I bring Aaron Donald into the room. You know why? He's 6 foot 270. Who thought a guy 6 foot 270 was going to look like that? Do you understand that? He's 6 feet tall, 270. Kenny Gainwell is taller. Okay? I mean, Howie Roseman might be taller than Aaron Donald. Doubtful, but he might be. Okay? Get this. Here's another great point by Jay Brown here. Look at this, guys. Here's been my take all day. Hey, Jay Brown, how many years did it take? By the way, please hit the like button, guys. How many years did it take for Brandon Graham to develop into a really good ball player? How many? How many years? What would you say how many years it took? Yale says 5. 5 years, guys? Okay. 5 years. How many years do you think it's going to take to develop Nakobe Dean going into his 3rd year? How many years? What's up, Pete? How many years? We're going on year 3. 2 more? Okay. 2 more? 5? Okay, 5. How many more years is it going to take for Jalen Carter? 2? Last year and this year? Okay, 2. I'll go with 2. He's a fine player by the end of the year, 2. How long for Nolan Smith? Last year, now this year. How long before we see Nolan Smith and he's developing into a player? How many years? 4? Quinyon Mitchell. Let's give him the benefit. You really think he's going to develop into being a really great player in year 1? Xander thinks so. You want to go 1? Okay. Eli Ricks is on his 2nd year. What do we think? 3? 4? Let's see here. Cooper DeJean. Well, he's going to be slowed up a little bit, so let's see 3. 3, 5, 2, 4, 1, 4. My point is, for anybody to think that that defense is going to come around in year 2024 and not letting those players to develop and develop correctly, you're high. It took Brandon Graham 5 years. Okay? Took him 5 years. Yale goes, I expect better play from all of them. Okay? I think so do they. By the time the Super Bowl window will be closed, by that time, no. No, because AJ and Devontae are young players. Hey, Joseph, Brandon Graham was hurt. That's part of the process, my friend. Same with Nakobe, whether you're hurt or not. That's part of the evaluation, availability and durability and production. I mean, you guys are making it sound like you have produced young talent on the other side of the ball. You haven't. You have one guy who looks very promising in Carter. The rest of them don't. I'm not. Hey, by the way, on August 22nd, Sills, are you going to say they all suck? No. I'm about done with Dean. Nolan Smith, I don't see shit. I kind of like the kid Ricks. How many more years for Kelly Ringo to develop? 3? My point is, if Vic stays in the room and he's there 3 years, he could develop that defense into something pretty good in 25 and 26. Which means this. You have to have a guy on offense, and you have to have an offense that can completely carry the mail for you for a year and a half until that defense comes around. You know, like Xander said about Jahan Dotson. He's not a game changer, but for the role they're asking him, it's a great move. And the third rounder, Howie paid it because they don't like their wide receiver room. Okay, Slim says that Nolan Smith is not a pass rusher. You better pray he is. You better pray he turns into a pass rusher. We're efforting our friend, Merrill Reese. Hopefully we're able to catch up with him here in a second. Apparently, the only guy that we ever produced at linebacker and we let him go. Do you remember who that was? Of course we do. And by the way, you found him. He was a UDFA. Absolutely. Guys, please hit the like button. Big drop after wide receiver 2. Hey, but Yale, you got a guy in there who is going to be somewhat productive. Now, the problem that you're hearing is that he's soft. And that is the tag in why they moved off him. How many years removed? What draft was he? How many years was he there? 2 in Washington? Wow. Washington treated him like he was Jalen Reagor. So did you guys bring Jalen Reagor into your team? I mean, you're hearing a conversation out of Washington about Jahan Dotson like he's Jalen Reagor. He's soft and he's moody. I don't know. Are we talking about Jalen Reagor or are we talking about Dotson? Dude, he's the 16th pick. Yale. I'm saying it's a good move because it's a 3-hole and it's some type of insurance. And I like what one of you guys brought up was the fact that you now give the ability to be able to have him go out on the numbers and you put AJ down in the slot. AJ may have a lot more catches this year than what people are thinking. Here's Pete. Sills, he's not a game changer, but we didn't have a decent number, wideout 3. You're dead on. So you play the Y and the Z positions. He can't play X position. He's fast enough and can run routes. You have to look at it that way. That's how I'm looking at it, Pete. I'm completely looking at it that way. Pete, I'll say it again. Did you get better? Okay, did you get better and upgrade the wide receiver 3 spot? Absolutely, you did. Okay, I'm sure Merrill's a little busy right now because they got to be prepping probably for the Minnesota game this weekend. So we'll hope to catch up to Merrill Reese here and get his thoughts. We're supposed to get him on 4:30 Eastern time. He's always great to us. So we'll just press on here. I'm going to tell you right now, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will be our linebacker of the future. He's playing better than I thought. Okay, he is. Okay, Dotson, Campbell. I'll take Dotson. Well, I don't know. Get this. I don't like what we're hearing on what Washington's saying. Now, is that an end-all indictment on the player because Washington and the reporters are making those comments? Remember something. People who cover a team are the mouthpiece for the team. This is what I've been trying to tell you the whole time. Some of the people that cover even your Eagles are mouthpieces for the team. So they're going to say things to be in the light and in the favor of the organization. There's no way Washington was going to not bleed out of their PR department why they got rid of a guy who was the 16th pick. Okay? There's no way. So could they be adding a little bit more frosting to him sucking? They probably are. So you got to take it with a grain of salt too. Just because a reporter is telling you that doesn't necessarily mean that the player was that. Now, there has to be something to it. They did move off him. Teams don't move off 2 years after drafting a kid, and you still have the 5th-year option out there. Most teams don't do that. So obviously something Dan Quinn did not like. And how about this one? Brian Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury had to be part of that equation. Is the kid good or not? No. Okay. I mean, hey, don't be disappointed. Merrill's probably busy. Relax. He's on all the time. Relax. Dotson will have a chip on his shoulder with Washington saying that, says Michael. Probably. James Jones hates to tell you, I don't think you're getting either. I think Dotson just got outperformed in camp by other guys, says Crowley. Or they want to make room for Ayuk. There's no way you're going to be exiting guys off your football team that you had control of 3 years if you're not making a move for a wide receiver. There is no doubt that general manager, who I actually like, is not going to be trying to blow that deal up to get Brandon Ayuk. And it would not shock me if you see this. I mean, you put Terry McLaurin and Brandon Ayuk together, and if this kid Jaden Daniels is who I think he is, Washington, once again, like I said, I predicted them to win the NFC East. That's a pretty good-looking offense. And their defense, again, pass rushing is probably going to be an issue. Their offensive line, in my opinion, is a problem because it's musical chairs. But they're improving the football team. Let me tell you this, again, if you move off Dotson and you move Ayuk in, they clearly got better. They clearly got better. Okay? I mean, they got better. Brandon Ayuk trade and adding picks is a better deal for the Commanders next season, while it's a good deal for us this season. Well, it just depends. It's really going to depend. Okay? I mean, if I can make my football team better, remember something too. You've got to put tools around Jaden Daniels. Oh, skills bleed. Do you think Washington is looking to make a trade for a receiver? Yes, we've been talking Brandon Ayuk. Pete says, can he be a Nelson Aguilar, wide receiver 3? That's 768 and 8 touchdowns is what you got out of that 3 hole in 17. He put numbers like that up. That would have been the steal of the century. If Jahan Dotson puts up that many catches and over nearly 800 yards in receiving, that would be a grand slam of a deal. Guys, tell me where we are in the like list right now. It'd be insane. Remember this, guys, like Xander said, and I completely agree here. Okay, this is a 3-hole move with insurance tied to it. This is not a game-changing whether you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. This is a protection move. 449, guys, we're 51 away from 500 likes. Guys are killing it, man. I appreciate it. By the way, we apologize for Merrill here. If he can join us today, I'm sure he will. If he can, he'll probably do it tomorrow for us. I know he's got the Minnesota game this weekend, and it's on Saturday, so give him all a goats like that don't have to be on time. Nolan Smith doesn't have it. Not physical or strong enough to play defensive end. Stand him up and let him roam. I don't know he can cover anybody yet as well. Dotson is the same talent as Ayuk. Absolutely not. Jahan Dotson and Brandon Ayuk, not happening. Not happening. Sills, what if Washington trades for T. Higgins? I don't believe Cincinnati's going to do that now 2 weeks out from the start of the season. Why would Cincinnati do that? You got him on a one-year deal. They'll trade him in the offseason. Okay? Why would they hurt their chances of doing something like that? Now, unless they trade T. Higgins to Washington and Cincinnati would never make a move for Brandon Ayuk. I don't believe, when they have to still sign Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is not signed yet. You got Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Ayuk still out there, not with contracts, as we're 2 weeks to the start of the season. Those teams need to get that thing done. Now, could one of those three guys be moved? Oh, I absolutely think one of them will be. And by the way, too, Akbar says Ayuk has crazy good footwork in a game. Hey, Akbar, he's also a damn good downfield blocker. And I think he's the best the 49ers have. He's one of their best, if not best, downfield blockers. Okay? Dotson is our Cedric Wilson for Kellen Moore, around 600 yards. Remember, Christopher, he's probably going to be used more in decoy mode. Because, look, when you put a guy like Dotson at the 3-hole, I have to defend that. When you put Paris Campbell there, I don't care. Paris Campbell's not beating me. I know who Paris Campbell is. That guy had 15 yards a catch his freshman year or his rookie year. 7 touchdowns. He wasn't terrible. And by the way, if he's moody, he's mopey, I don't care. Go make a play. And today in the NFL, I think you can be soft and be a receiver. You're not going to get hit. This isn't like 1990. So if the guy doesn't like to get hit, well, you can't hit him anyway. Dotson had 108 and a touchdown against us last year. I believe that was week 8. I think that was week 8 that happened, that he put up that number. Okay, I do. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. We're rolling towards 500 likes. Pretty crazy. Ayuk goes to Dallas, it's over. He's not going to Dallas. There's no way San Francisco is trading Brandon Ayuk to the Cowboys. Okay? There's no way. And by the way, I heard something yesterday that people keep saying. Dak Prescott has a no-trade clause in his contract. He completely has the entire leverage in that whole thinking with Cowboys. They can't move him. They can't move Dak Prescott. I found out last night from Stephen Jones, he's got a no-trade. So if they tried to trade him to a shitty team, he's going to go, no. I'll wait for free agency in the offseason. He's completely got the leverage on them. When they implemented that no trade and put it in his contract, he's got complete leverage. You may try to trade his ass to a shitty team. No, I'm not going. You can't trade him. He's got no trade in there. And so you know what he does? He goes in the open market. Say there's 4 teams. Kirk Cousins had a couple teams, and he got $50 million. All you need is 2 teams. Nick, thank you so much. I appreciate it. By the way, guys, we apologize. Hopefully we're able to catch up with our friend Merrill Reese. I know Merrill's probably real busy here, especially today. People want to hear him on what's going on with this Jahan Dotson deal too. So we appreciate you guys coming here, and we really appreciate it. We've been known that Sills didn't have to talk to Steven for that. Yeah, okay, guy. Yeah, I did, because you know why? You didn't know shit. I talked to the guy who makes the deals. There's a difference between me and you, Twiz. You talk to a dude. I talk to the dude. Okay? I talk to the dude. You talk to a dude. That's the difference between this show and other shows. I talk to the dude. The dude that makes the deals. You talk to your buddy over at Wawa. Okay. Hey, did you hear what? We all knew this. Hey, Bob, how about that Slurpee, dude? Hey, I'm awake, or you? Shut up. It's known that twins. Oh, okay, Prince. Look at Prince. Here's Prince to the rescue. Big Bad Sills. No, Big Bad Sills. Prince is here to protect you. Give me a break. Wawa doesn't have Slurpees. Thank you, Slagger. I didn't know that there was a menu at Wawa. Just do this. Don't try the pizza. Hey, Jack. Jack says, they got Italian ice there, Jack? Okay. Hey, they got Italian ice? I love you too. Wake, I got you, man. We're good. Stills, should we just bring in Randy Gregory for 1-year rental? Kyle says this about this guy, Gregory. I hate Randy Gregory. I have no interest in this loser. This guy is a poor decision maker. Hey, dude. Hey, Kyle. This is a message for Randy Gregory. If you're going to smoke weed, okay, you're going to smoke pot, and you're going to sign with a new team, do me a favor. Don't smoke, as LT would say, don't do crack for 14 days. Don't smoke. You're going to sign with an NFL team. Okay. Hey, Randy, you just tested positive for marijuana. I did? This guy's an idiot. He's a complete idiot. I mean, don't smoke crack. Dude, Randy's the Josh Gordon. Hey, dude, I don't care you smoke pot. I care you don't know when to smoke pot. Okay? Roster projections? We'll do that. We'll do that soon. I'll tell you what, folks. There is excitement rolling around the Eagle front office right now. They got better today. We said it. By the way, this is what you get. Remember this with Dotson. Dotson was projected to be the number 2 guy next to Terry McLaurin, right? He's the 16th pick. Next 3 years, you have complete control of his contract. The Eagles aren't asking him to be a second hole guy. They're not even asking him to be a number 1 guy. You gave up a third for 2 things. Insurance of health with the 2 top guys and to upgrade to 3-hole. And I think they did. Let's bring in the legendary voice of the Philadelphia Eagles and get his take on this. He is our friend, Merrill Reese. Merrill, how about the noise today? Howie being Howie goes out and gets himself a wide receiver that was a former #1 pick 2 years ago, and he adds it to that already talented offense.
Yeah, I think that's great. I really do, Dan. Johan Dotson, I loved him when he was at Penn State, and I thought he was going to be an instant success in the National Football League. But look, Washington is Washington, and they really did not have a very good offense. And last year, he had a pretty good rookie year. Last year, he had under 50 receptions and just over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he did a little something, but I think he's a lot better than that.
This is going to sound so stupid, Merrill. I'm going to say a dumb thing to a very, very experienced guy, and you'd probably have my mic shut off if we were doing a game together. Is it possible to have too many weapons in a huddle for a team to have success? Because look at Kansas City. They got one dude in the huddle, and they don't have primary targets, and yet they're awful successful. Now, again, there's a special player that's at that quarterback position. Plus, you have Andy Reid. I get all of that. But is there too many mouths to feed with that offense?
I don't think so. I mean, they do have weapons. They have a fabulous pair of outside receivers at A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They're great. But what this team is trying to do is bolster every position and be as good as they possibly can be. And nobody has stood out this summer as a good third receiver, as a slot receiver. I'll tell you the guy who's really played well this season, but this summer, but you don't want to use him that much because he's so valuable as a return man, and that's Britton Covey. I'd have 4 or 5 plays in a game where you could put him in and try to get him into open space because he is a terrific little receiver. But last week, Joseph Ngata did pretty well as a third receiver, or actually a second receiver when he was playing in New England. But you don't want to depend on him. But a guy like Johan Dotson has the pedigree, and I think he's just going to help this team.
Am I wrong when I say this? There's just something different about Hurts this year. And go with me on this. This is going to sound like blasphemy a little bit. That football team was always under the leadership of Jason Kelce. And by the way, folks, this is no rip at all at Jason Kelce. He was a phenomenal Eagle, still is. He'll go down as one of the Mount Rushmore type dudes in the recent 40 years of that football team. But do you buy into it now, Merrill, that this is truly Jalen Hurts' team, where he is now the guy and the focal point and the leader now, because you even hear the players saying he feels more comfortable. He seems more accessible. You know, he's working with Cam on blocking assignments and pass protection and all this other stuff. And he's talking to everybody out there. Doesn't there seem to be a calmness over him where he's taken that role of being the leader of the Eagles?
Well, you know, Dan, I have said this to you since he came into the league, that I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. I think he's a great athlete. I think he's a wonderful individual. He's driven. He is driven to be the best. But I think there's a difference between a 22-year-old Jalen Hurts and an almost 26-year-old Jalen Hurts, that you grow and you get better in the job and you feel more and more in control and people look up to you more. So I think it's the aging process or the maturing process of Jalen Hurts, the NFL quarterback. I mean, there are guys who come into the league and right away they're cocky and they're tough and they exude that, but it's rare. He's more concerned with being better each day than being more of an outward-going guy who says the right thing or says the thing. He's not an inspirational leader in that sense, but I think he's very, very mature now, and his teammates really respond to him.
And I hearing that too, by the way. How impressed have you been with Kellen Moore, Merrill, and what he's done with the offense, how he's talked, how he's trying to help Hurts be a better reader of defenses? You hear all the things. Even Lane was talking the other day that his impact on the team has been incredible. Your takeaways on what you've seen with Kellen so far?
It's not really so far with Kellen Moore because I have been somebody who has liked him for quite a while. I like what he did with Dak. with the Cowboys. I think he would have done a lot more with the Chargers had he had a healthy Herbert throughout. But I think that he's one of the bright young minds in the National Football League, and I think that the title head coach is definitely going to be in his future. But for me to tell you what I've been impressed with right now with Kellen Moore, it's very difficult because, he's a good guy and you can see his command, but we haven't seen that much. We've seen a bunch of things at practice. You're not going to be much more than vanilla in the 3 preseason games. So to see what Kellen Moore can really do, we have to see regular season NFL football. But again, as I said, I jumped out of the chair when I heard his name announced as the new offensive coordinator, as I did with Vic Fangio. I just think they're both two of the best coordinators in football. But the proof is what happens during the season. I said to Vic, are you happy with your defense? He said, ask me in about a month and a half.
Absolutely. Hey, Merrill, I want to read this to you. What up, Sills? A special guest, the legend Merrill Reese. Philly wide receiving core is no doubt the best in NFL after the trade. I feel offense could carry the D if they struggle early. What are both of your thoughts? I mean, I've said this before here, Merrill. I think one of the things that you're going to see, because there's so much question marks over on the defensive side, just because of youth and because of new faces and a new coordinator over there, how much do you believe that offense has to carry that defense until, like you just mentioned, Vic said, I'll let you know in week 10. So do you believe that it has to go down that line, that offense has to carry that football team, at least in the first quarter pole of the season?
No, I don't. I think it's got to come out. The defense has got to come out and play good football from the beginning. I don't think anybody has to carry anybody. I think you have to play the best of your ability, show what you have. There are too many good people on this defense for them to have to be carried. I think when you look at some of the great players, at least coming in, and I'm talking about, I'm talking about Nakobe Dean, I'm talking about Jordan Davis, I'm talking about,
Jalen Mitchell.
The thing about Carter and Davis is not that they're not great players, because they are, but they've got to show that they can be great players for the length of a 17-game season. I think last year they wore down. They weren't the same players in the last third of the season. They've got to show that they're in the condition that they should be in, and that by the end of the season, they should not only be as good as they are early, but better.
I'm going to ask you a question that I know you hate, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to phrase it a right way here. And Merrill, I know it's August 22nd, and I'm not going to ask you about one-loss records, and I'm not going to ask you about wins, but I will ask you this. Is this the most talented offense on paper that you have covered since you've been the broadcaster for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Dan, can I leave and come back in about 25? I mean, don't forget, we've seen some pretty great offenses with this team. We've seen Donovan McNabb. This is my 48th year, so I saw Randall Cunningham, where he had some unbelievable playmakers on that team. I saw Donovan McNabb. I saw a guy. I've seen so many of them. I really have so many great players, great wide receivers. I mean, it's so tough to say this is the best in the last 48 years. I can tell you this is one of the best, but to give you a superlative right now before we kicked off one play in the regular season is just, it would be irresponsible on my part. But I've seen some great players.
There's Merrill Reese running for the president of Marion.
I don't think. I'm just running for the next tee.
How about this one? Vic Fangio. I mean, does he remind you more of Jim Johnson or Buddy Ryan?
Jim Johnson.
Oh, wow. What? Right, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody reminds me of Buddy Ryan but Buddy Ryan. I mean, He was unique. He was a character. Buddy Ryan said whatever he felt at that moment. I loved him, but he was a loose cannon. Vic Fangio is confident enough to say what he believes with the media, but he's not going to make anybody in the upper offices furious. He's not going to do that. He'll be sincere. That was Jim Johnson. He was tough and he was honest to a point, but you're never going to have Jeffrey Lurie and the general manager coming down saying, what is he doing? Vic Fangio he keeps his professional stance at all times, but he is obviously confident and respected.
You know what I love about him, and what couple more here for you, Merrill. One of the reasons that I think he is going to connect more in Philly than in what he did with Miami, you had a lot of veterans like Xavier Howard. You also had people like Jalen Ramsey, who has a Super Bowl ring. It's hard, as you know, when a veteran guy who's been in the league 10 plus years, hey, I want you to do this. This will make you better. And the player's going to go like this. Wait a minute. I know what makes me better. And I think a guy like Vic, actually an old school guy like that, connects better with younger players. And all younger players want to know is, can that guy make me better? And I think that's why those younger players in Philly are connecting with him, is because they believe that he can make them better.
You know, it's very interesting to hear you say that, because it's almost as if you came into the press conference tent yesterday morning and listened to Nick Sirianni, because he was talking about relationships with players. And he said, look, we all like to be liked, but to really be appreciated by a player, it's not to be his pal. To get through to a player, that player has to believe that you are going to make him better. If he believes that you are going to enhance his career longevity, elevate him in the group of receivers or offensive linemen or backs or whatever, if you are going to benefit his career, you're going to have a great relationship with that player. And I think they believe that about Vic Fangio. And I think they should believe that about Kellen Moore.
Finally here, I'll just give you a little bit of advice on going down to Brazil. Make sure you drink the hotel bottled water. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, well.
Hey, make sure you eat all your food in the hotel. Don't get anything on the street. You don't know it. You know, I don't know, man. I just, from what I understand from my friends being down there, you never know what you're going to get when you're down in Brazil. So I'm just saying, drink the water, Merrill, out of the bottle of the hotel. That's my only advice. No ice cubes.
Okay. I promise you I won't take any chances.
Merrill, thank you so much. Hit him straight. I appreciate you always taking time. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Dan. Always fun being on with you.
You got it. Our friend Merrill Reese, man. Minnesota final game of the year in the exhibition season. That will be on Saturday. Absolutely sensational. All right, guys, where are we right now on the like list? By the way, I got to say this right here to this guy here. Shane, thank you so much for the super chat. That was really kind of you. And we really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. That was great. Merrill Reese, Hall of Famer, too, by the way. Hey, do me a favor. Where are we on the like list now? Where are we on the like list? 5 away. We're no way. We're 5 away from 500. Way to go, Prince. 500 away from 500 likes. Holy cow, you guys. Hey, shut up, Prince. Hit the like button. Power Hour coming up. We are going to reset. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Do me a favor, please hit the like button. You guys are blowing up today. We appreciate that people come here to listen to Prince, myself, Xander, Merrill Reese, Warren Moon this week. We appreciate it. I can't tell you and thank you enough. I mean it, man. Yeah, you too, Prince. You guys are really great. I mean, hey, listen, there's no question. I think we have the best conversation and the best interaction of anybody in Philadelphia and maybe around the country when it comes to talking ball or really anything. Okay? I mean, dude, we built this fucker up from nothing. We did. You got people out there, too. I'm going to say one small thing. You got people out there that, get this. You know what I feel a little bit for JAKIB? They're going through a little bit of Sills identity issues. You know what that is? People are going to take shots at him, post things, say things that aren't true. It's hard to defend yourself. Take a look at our media now and how they look at one candidate and look at the other candidate. They'll say anything. On both sides. Some of it's not true. Most of it's not true. But you're trying to get a head up on the next guy. That's exactly what goes on in the media. I've never seen more bitches in my life that I work in this field with. This is why I have, with my football friends, still to this day, 90% of the people I've played with and I knew are still my friends. I've worked in this business 34 years. You know how many friends I have? 5. 5. Because they're all untrustworthy. People will always let you down. Okay? And I mean, dude, if you went on the internet, you plugged it in, like I'm the biggest racist since David Duke, according to the media people that post that stupid shit. Or you read something about my company. That's not the truth. That is not the truth. Isn't it funny? Guy gets on a radio show. All of a sudden now it's a thing. Okay. Okay, Mike. Guy reached out to me 17 times. I said, I got a great relationship with the Krauses. Never had an issue. Really never. Well, Joe, my wife, and Xander and I remember doing this. Well, if they don't fire me now, I'll never be fired. Outside of that one time, okay. Hey, by the way, I'm not saying I'm the easiest guy on the planet to get along with, too. I'm not. I'm totally not. But I'll tell you what, I swear to God, after we all hung up, and Joe remembers, and I go like this. I go, well, if they don't fire me now, they'll never fire me. You know what my wife said? You're too stupid to fire. Oh, man. All good. I'm awake, are you? I think that's all you can ask anybody in life, man, when you have an interaction with somebody. I just hope you're a solid dude and you're a good dude. I don't know what that means even. You can fill in the blank. Okay? Hey, Jack, thank you, man. It means a lot. It does. Because a lot of people in today's society will read something and it's like etched in stone and they'll believe that that's really what it is, and it's not. You know how many people that call me and ask me about shit? I go, I don't even know what you're talking about. I really have no idea what you're talking about. Please hit the like button here. We're going to get back into it here. You're not great at articulating your thoughts on X-Hills, but I understand you sometimes. Hey, Prince, you're so right. You are so right. You are dead on. That X thing, Twitter, has gotten me into more trouble than anything on the planet. It's cost me jobs. No shit. I'll get one of those 4:00 in the morning texts from Xander. Really? How's that helping us? How's that helping us? Yale goes like this. Be careful what you put in writing. Yale. I'm not careful what I put in writing, but I own what I put in writing. Unlike some people, you say or write something and you don't own it. You're a fraud. The one thing you never accuse me of is being a fraud. I mean, I own everything, my mistakes and my successes. Okay? You're honest, Sills. My feelings get hurt every day, and I love it. Wait a minute. Michael, now you're making me sound like a dick. Look at what Michael just did. You're honest, Sills. My feelings get hurt every day, and love it. Dude, honestly, let me guess. You have a mask, and you have like a ball a friend of yours puts in your – I mean, what is this? What are you, crazy? Hey, Michael, you're making me feel – you're making me feel stupid here. Okay? Oh, man. He's definitely honest. Holy shit, I'm awake. Are you with a compliment? Knock me over. Yeah, you too, Twiz. The Twiz, hey, Prince is kind of like turned into a big time dickhead too. Okay, he totally has here. All right. Okay, speaking of being a dickhead, MGM Bet or Bet MGM, your favorites to win the most valuable player award. Mahomes plus 550. Dak plus 750. CJ Stroud plus 1,000. Jordan Love plus 1,000. Joe Burrow plus 1,100. Brock Purdy plus 1,200. And Josh Allen plus 1,200. Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers, 1,500. Jared Goff, 1,500. And Kirk Cousins at 1,500. These are your favorites, according to BetMGM, on winning the NFL's most valuable player. I don't see a guy on there with 4,600. What was it? 4,600 yards. What did Xander say? 5,600 yards and 56 touchdowns? I'm sorry. I heard so much flag waving. What did Xander say? Hurts is going to throw for 5,800 yards and 56 touchdowns. Is that what I said? What he said? Or was it 45 or 4,400? I forget. 44, 56. I mean, what's the difference? Right? Right? What's the difference? Hey, before I move on and we reset here about this trade, I want to show you something here. I got this number here. Where is this? Okay, here it is. How many people think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback? How many people believe Daniel Jones is a good QB? Quarterback for the New York Giants. Steven says, nope. Who? Trash, Abe says. Laughing my ass off. Nobody thinks that. Daniel Jones, trash. Look at his record. Let's see here. Where do you say that? Look at his record. Well, let's do that. 60 ball games. Daniel Jones, Eli Manning, 57. Quarterback record. Daniel Jones has 22 wins, 36 losses, and 1 tie. Eli Manning, 30 touchdowns, 25 losses, and no ties. Completion percentage. Daniel Jones, 64.3. Eli Manning, 54.7. So he's more accurate than Eli. Okay. Passing yards. 12,512 to 11,385. Jones is throwing for more yards. He's played in 3 more games, so it's probably even. Yards per game, passing. Daniel Jones, 2,085. Eli, 199.7. Probably same guy. TDs. Daniel Jones, 62. Eli Manning, 77. Now, Jones is a rusher, too. He's a dual threat guy. So, if you look at the numbers, he's Eli Manning. His first 60 games are almost identical to Eli Manning. I mean, but he's a New York quarterback. Okay, Jack goes like this. Yeah, that's probably it. The only difference is that he's a Manning. Okay. So the only reason in the first 60 games that people are giving Eli Manning the nod for potentially going, even being a Hall of Fame guy, and Daniel Jones pretty much has the same career as Eli, is because he's a Manning? Going with nepotism? Huh. See, when you put things in proper perspective, and he's got lesser talent around him. He's got lesser talent. So when you say that, people are looking at him going, well, he sucks. Well, Eli sucked too for his first 60. Did he not? Giants ran the ball more with Eli. Well, Barkley was always hurt. He was in and out of the lineup. Barkley never was a well, the way you look. Well, Barkley didn't really help him. The point is, I'm trying to put a reference point to you here. As bad as you think Daniel Jones is, he was as good as Eli Manning through the first 60 ball games with lesser talent. How good is the guy? I think that's a giant failure up there. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is some world beater. I'm totally not doing that. And by the way, I think the Giants are going to be in the market for a new quarterback next year. Could be Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott could be in New York. As a matter of fact, would Dak Prescott want to go to New York? From the Cowboys to the New York Giants? Sure. Rebuild, build a team around me, give me a brand new 3-year contract that's 60. Brian Dable's got a competent quarterback in the building. You start putting pieces around him. Okay. Did you see what Jerry Jones said? Jerry Jones goes, Lance, trade Lance. There is no way he's not making the active 53-man roster. He gave a 53rd roster spot away to a guy who's a bum. And you won't sign Dak. Okay. You're going to give a roster spot away to Trey Lance. I would cut his ass. But the Cowboys don't want to be made to look bad at making deals. That's when you cut your losses. Get him the fuck out of there. Get him out of there. Okay? He's not helping your football team. Again, this is my problem with Howie, with Bradbury. Get him out of there. Move him. Shane says Dakota will never win a ring. In Dallas, he won't. Okay? In Dallas, he won't. We might get hey, Reggie, we may get the 550 in likes. What do you think, Prince? There's a shot? Okay, they just drafted Neighbors. Yeah, that's a good pick. I like him too. Okay. Daniel Jones is the dual threat slacker you wish Jalen Hurts was. Once again, M. Reyes, here it shows you how stupid of a take this is. This guy hopes that I hope Jalen Hurts blows this year so no one will watch the show. Jalen Hurts, I pray he plays great. Why in the world would I want to cover a 6-win, according to Angelo, a 5-win Eagle team? How dumb are you? M. Reyes. Always look out for what's best for Big Sil Show and us. Not my fucking take. My take is the least important thing when it comes to that stuff, when it comes to you thinking I wish something. I don't wish it. Bro, you coined dual threat. I don't like dual threat quarterbacks. Get over yourself. Okay, so this guy says, I hate Hurts because Hurts is dual threat. Okay, you're right. I don't know Jalen Hurts from a can of freaking paint. To sit there and say, I don't like the kid personally, I don't know him. Oh, wait, M. Reyes, you're one of those guys that pretends you know people from a distance because they're your quarterback. Is that what you do? Oh, okay. I don't know these athletes from a can of paint, guy. I don't pretend to know them, nor do I want to know them. I don't have the want to know Jalen Hurts. I don't care. Go win games. Eagles treat their players as assets. Cowboys treat their players as liabilities. Some truth. Okay? Some truth. Hey, Dan, how many dual threat quarterbacks are in this league right now that are starting? How about this one? That are good. Allen, Lamar, Hurts. Murray. Caleb Williams is not going to run a lot. Mahomes is not dual threat. He's not. He's dual threat when he has to be. Mahomes is not dual threat. I mean, he's not dual threat. He's dual threat when he has to be. How many yards rushing did Patrick Mahomes have in 2023? 389? 389, let's see here. 389 divided by 17. I wouldn't consider 22 yards a game dual threat, would you? I mean, yeah, like winning a Super Bowl. He pulls it out when he has to. Patrick Mahomes runs the ball 22 yards a game. That's not exactly dual threat. Jaden Daniels will be there. Yeah, I think so. Caleb is not going to run a ton when he gets into the NFL. Well, he may have to. Well, the O-line's improved. Okay. Yeah, but look, okay. Let's take a look at the top paid quarterbacks. Mahomes, 1. We consider him dual threat. Trevor Lawrence can run, but he doesn't a ton. He's a drop back guy. Jared Goff, $53 million. He's a drop back guy. Justin Herbert, 52. He's a drop back guy. Lamar is a dual threat. Let's see who else is up there. Jalen Hurts, dual threat. Josh Allen, he's down at the bottom, dual threat. Who else? Cousins, not dual threat, makes 50. Yeah. Watson's not dual threat. He's a pocket passer. So you're talking another guy here. Jordan Love's not a dual threat guy. He's a pocket passer. CJ Stroud, but those guys aren't paid yet. Those guys aren't like your top dudes yet. Okay. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing it. All right, let's reset here. And I loved our conversation that we had with Xander at 3:30. 2 weeks to Brazil. Kansas City's that week versus Baltimore. Some pretty good ball games. Kansas City, Baltimore on Thursday. Then you got Eagles and Packers on Friday. There's no doubt this deal here, Jahan Dotson, I think he makes the football team on offense better. Rookie year, 15 yards a catch, 7 touchdowns. They gave up a 3 and 2 7s. They got a 5th rounder also in 25. Here are the numbers, Dotson. 2022, 35 catches, 523, 7 touchdowns, 14.9 a catch. Not bad. Not awful for a rookie. If you want to put that thing in proper context, Devontae Smith only had 380 some odd yards more receiving than what Dotson did his rookie year. And I believe he had more touchdown catches. And I think he averaged more catches per catch than what he had with limited catches at 35. So he had a better yards per catch than Devontae. And he had probably more touchdowns than Devontae his rookie year. That's not awful. 23, 49 catches. 518, 4 TDs, 10.6 went down the other way. Organization's a shithole under Daniel Snyder. Okay? That's Jay Brown's right. Plus the quarterbacks, Jacoby Brissett, Sam Howell. I wouldn't call these guys like, household names or such. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think those numbers aren't awful. Now, the word is Xander got some intel from some people saying, well, the guy's moody. and he's a little bit soft. Not cool. But again, I'm not looking for Jahan Dotson to be my number 2 guy. I'm praying not. And I think the reason you gave up a quality 3rd-round pick is because you're doing that for an insurance policy. I don't mind paying a lot of money for an insurance policy. You might need it. Dotson's your insurance policy. If AJ goes down, this guy's functional. He's functional. Remember what I said the other day to you? You want to be a little bit on the side of, you want a durable, not a durable guy, you want a reliable guy in that 3 wide receiver spot. Okay? There you go, Brian. You also hate insurance until you need it. Hey, man, I'm really glad I got that car insurance, man. That thing would have been $5,000. My deductible's $500. Thank God. Right? You hate putting that money in the mail, or you hate sending that money off every month. Damn, $140. Damn, $150. Damn, whatever it is. Yeah, but then that thing hits a wall or something, you're like, thank God. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. So we said this thing earlier, and I'll say it one more time to you here. We'll kind of reset the topics a little bit because I think they fit right into this. The football team improved on offense. I disagree with everybody, and I agree with Xander. This is not a Super Bowl move. It's an insurance move for what you think you can accomplish. That offense is going to have to carry the mail for the first half of the season, and I disagree with Merrill Reese on this. Your defense has still yet to be proven that it's a good team. Get this. You know why I predicted you to go to the Super Bowl in 22? Because you had veterans all over the unit. I predicted that, and Xander can tell you, I was one of the very first guys that after free agency started getting done. I went like this. I think the Eagles are going to Super Bowl. And Xander was like, you're kidding. And I said, no, I think they're going to Super Bowl. I was one of the first guys to put that out there. That's a Super Bowl roster because of the experience you had all over the roster. Everywhere. You had veteran dudes that knew how to play the ball and prepare. The difference between the 22 team and this team now is experience. Some of you will go like this. Well, Sills, there's more upside, you think, on this team? Because of, if you're just going to isolate it on youth, yeah, okay, true. Do I think you're going to be as talented as that 22 team? No. You know why? You think that 23 team or 24 team, is going to get you 70 sacks? You'd be lucky to hit 50. You'd be lucky to hit 50. You'd be lucky to hit 45. Here, let's do this. Let's just say, go to Jalen Carter. Let's give him 10. Davis, 4. Milton, 6. Sweat, 7. Huff, let's just say 10. I'll give it to him, 10. I don't think so. Smith, 3. I don't buy him. Okay, well, I'm at 40 now. I'm at 40. I gave Carter 10 sacks. Okay, what the linebackers? White, 4. So you're at 44. Okay. Kind of puts you in the middle of the room. Let's try to stay, Steve, in the concept of who these guys are before you start giving sack totals people have never accomplished. 7? What are you, fucking nuts? Trotter 3. Let's see if he steps on the field. Who's Devin White? 10 sacks, Twiz. There you go, baby. Keep it up. So we're talking about between 37 and 40 sacks right now. That's not going to be enough to protect your secondary and your linebackers. You need to be up near 55 to protect that team. Dude, your secondary in 22 wasn't very good. What'd you guys finish? What'd you guys finish? What was it? Second, Xander? They were second in pass defense? You were second in pass defense, playing center field. Teams were completion percentages off the charts against you. But what was the main factor? They got home. Your secondary was great because your pass rush was great. Same players came back the next year, and they shit the bed. Why? No pressure. It's not that hard to figure out. Only 4 sacks from linebackers. We'll have that by game 4 by blitzing. Hey, Big Fish thinks that they're going to have that number when you haven't had a linebacker in the last 3 years have over 2 sacks. But he thinks now they're going to. And Vic's not a big blitzer from the backer position, but he may have to be this year because those edge rushers, I'm not buying them. I'm not buying your edge rushing. And I'm talking Smith and Huff. I'm not buying those guys. Sweat I am. I'm pretty comfortable that he'll be around 7 to 9. I am. You know why? He's a good football player. He's a good football player. We'll have to blitz more because we don't have the ends. DB. This is the fundamental flaw that you have when you say stuff like that you're going to have to blitz more. You don't blitz when you have 2 high safeties. You put those 2 high safeties on an island when you blitz. And the entire underneath in the middle of the zone is open. You can't do that with 2 high safety. You cannot do that with 2 high safety. The guys will be completing passes on you left and right. You can get any quarterback to go in there and do that. Look at Austin. Quinyon Mitchell could get a sack. Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could. Sills, sacks alone won't be enough. Correct. Pressure on the QB will be. It's got to be consistent pass pressure. A team could make the Super Bowl without even 40 with a good pass rush to disrupt the pass rush. Absolutely, Shane. Thank you for the super chat. No doubt. Pressure is what got you to the Super Bowl. Dude, Hurts' lack of turnovers and your pressure on the quarterback got you to the Super Bowl. Those were the 2 things that killed you in 23. It's plain and simple. It's not 40 touchdowns. It's not a linebacker with 100 tackles. It's pressure and turnovers. That's the difference in your 23 and 22 year. Pressure and turnovers. You had 1 in 22. That was insane. And you had health. 23, none of that was true. None of it. Didn't matter if Jalen Hurts threw for 4,500 yards. He has 18 turnovers. You're not going anywhere. That's why when Hurts, like you guys said, if Hurts has 3,900 yards this year and he has 6 picks and 6 turnovers and you guys get up near 55, 57 sacks, you're going to be in the NFC title game. You're going to be in the NFC title game. I'm awake or you doesn't understand parallels between why one was good and why the other one. Okay? It's called making comparisons. You're 22 and 23. That was the difference. You guys think in 24, you're going to have 60 sacks. Okay? I don't see that. You're more at 40. That's not going to be enough to get you home. That's not going to be enough to get you home. You need to be up there 55 like that in there. I think you're 40. You may even be 30. Look, my expectations for Nolan Smith, I don't know, 3 sacks. Bryce Huff, 7. Sweat, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. Carter, 10. Jordan Davis, 3 or 4. Milton, 5 or 6. White, 4. Dean, I don't know. We're talking 37, 40 sacks. It's not good enough. Routes will be developed in a center field high cover 2 defense. You understand what you're here. Let's just look at the scheme itself. Let's look at the scheme itself. You're playing 2 high safety, right? Now, look, I told you about the nuances the other day in what Vic's going to try to do post-snap. Okay? I mean, wait a minute. I'd like to know. I'm awake or you? What's so funny? I'm curious. What's so funny? I like to know because I can at least address it. That you're laughing at something I said. What was it? What was it that you thinking was funny? Oh, wait. How many sacks did they get last year? We're the best in the league. Okay, well, I don't think I need to say anymore. Here's again what is going to happen. Okay? When you're talking about what teams are going to do. When you play 2 high safety, if that front 7 doesn't get home, they play 2 high safety for a reason. You know what that is? Corners are off the ball 10, 15 yards. Your safeties are even deeper. Got the whole middle of the field. And without pass rushing, those routes develop. The underneaths are going to be open all day long. You don't have anybody that can cover them. Who? Let alone the fact the league has made it almost impossible to get the guys on the ground, taking out the hip drop. You're going to see, by the way, that's not just going to be an Eagle issue. You're going to see more missed tackles this year than you've ever seen before. That's why I say, hey, would it shock me if A.J. Brown had 1,800 yards this year? No. Would it shock me if Justin Jefferson, well, Jefferson don't have a quarterback. Would it shock me if a receiver was up near 1,900 yards? No. To think coaching doesn't matter is crazy. Hey, dude, this guy thinks that's like telling, get this. You know what's crazy about that comment that Twiz made? That coaching won't matter. You can have the best scheme on the planet, but if you have the shittiest players, Vic Fangio's words himself, players make great defenses, not schemes. Why don't you buy into what your own coordinator says, Twiz? Twiz, why don't you buy into what Vic Fangio says himself? Vic Fangio said himself, schemes don't make good defenses, players do. Why don't you buy what he says? But when I say it to you, coaching doesn't matter. When the fucking coach says it himself. Vic Fangio said that. He said it. I didn't. I've been saying it the whole time, though. Vic never said our defense sucks. I didn't say he said it sucked. Vic Fangio was asked the question at his press conference. It's on the Philadelphia Eagle X page, and he says, ask me in 10 weeks when I can get back to you then on our defense. when he was at the golf course prior to camp. What makes a good defense? Well, scheme doesn't. Players do. That's what he said. That's all I've said. Stop always listening to the it's not negative coming from the defensive coordinator. So you're saying that if you're saying this, Twiz, that I'm a hater, you're also saying that Vic Fangio's a hater. I'm just echoing his words. I only hear what I want. I wish I could play these sound bites off the X page because he says it. And you know he says it. You just don't want me to tell you that he says it. Or I guess you don't like me saying it. All I'm doing is echoing the coordinator. So I guess Vic Fangio is an Eagle hater too. How's Jacoby doing? Oh, good. How's Bryce Huff doing? Well, yeah, well, we're getting there. He's not real good at run stopping and covering, but we think he can do it. He's never really been in this position before. He's playing a whole new different position. When I say that, I'm a hater. So I guess he must be too. Is there more improving talent on this team? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here, take a look at it. Your edge rushers are completely unproven. And some would go like this. What about Bryce Huff's 10 sacks? It's unproven he can do it again. Reddick did it 4 years in a row. Is that not a fact? You got rid of the guy you knew could do it again for a guy you're not sure can do it again. Is that unknown? Or are you going to give him the benefit of the doubt he's going to do it in a different role? Right? Okay. That's a you thing. I don't do that. Nolan Smith, I've never seen shit out of him. Jordan Davis, I think there's more promising coming out of him than there is any other player on that team outside of Jalen Carter. Sweat, I think he rebounds. Devin White, does he rebound his career? I don't know. Nakobe Dean? I don't know. Is Quinton Mitchell going to fit in right away? Hey, he's getting a great lesson and a great test by AJ and Devontae every day. Hey, dude, that's the greatest thing that's happened to that kid. It's not Vic Fangio. The greatest thing ever happened to Quinton Mitchell is he gets to practice against those two dudes every single day. I can't tell you how great that is. Can Blankenship stay healthy? Well, he hasn't, really. And let's see what Gardner Johnson does. He's played 15 games in 34 games the last 2 years. We'll see. I watched the entire interview, and I make a log of what they say. Yeah. Twiz, I'm not like you, dude. If somebody, I made a comment the other day that what's his name said that he believes Nolan Smith and Nakobe Dean are going to have great years. Jordan Davis said that they're going to have great years. They think they're going to have super years. I say what the players say, dude. You have me wrong here, man. I don't fit narratives. All I do is talk what the coach says and what the players are saying. That's why I only go to players. Okay. Let's see here. Jack goes, he's motivating young guys. Jack, you know how you motivate a young guy? Tell him the truth. You know how to become polarizing in sports talk? Tell the truth. You know why? I told you this before, Jack. Most people rather be lied to. It's easier to lie to people because you don't have to face reality. Motivating is reality. Hey, you're not doing it. Damn. Dude, I'd rather have a guy tell me where I'm at now than some guy tell me I'm doing a good job and all of a sudden I get blown out at the end. Hey, tell me when the ship is going down, not when it's hit the floor and sunk. How many bosses have you ever had tell you the bad news the last second when you didn't know it was coming. I wish your boss would come to you at the beginning when he thought things were going sideways. Hey, we need to change this. That's a good manager and a good coach that does stuff. Hey, we need to put you here. Do you understand what Vic Fangio is doing to these young players? He's telling them at the beginning what's wrong instead of at the end what's wrong. That's great coaching. Don't tell me when the boat's at the bottom of the ocean floor. Tell me when things are not looking, what do I need to do? Not to sink the boat. You know, communicating with players. I've had them all. When you communicate with players like that, I'm awake. Are you? No. Oh, I mean, dude, when a guy's not covering something great, that's why you heard Jordan Davis and even Devin White go, hey, I do something wrong. You know what Vic Fangio would do? He'll send me a clip on how to do it right. And he'll also tell me what I was doing wrong. He'll undress me in front of the team, hallway. It doesn't matter where it is when he sees me. He'll also give me kudos when I'm doing something right. That's at the beginning of the process of development. Oh, okay. And what the coach will do is he doesn't go out and do it again. That's a coaching plus for Vic Fangio. That's how you win a player over. Because then the player buys in going, hey, here's the greatest coaching tip that I could give you. It comes from Andy Reid. Can you imagine going, and I've said this to some of you guys, can you imagine going to Patrick Mahomes and going, hey, we're going to trade Tyreek Hill. You got to trust me on this. Damn. Xander threw. Hey, Xander, right? He threw for 50 touchdowns his rookie year or his first year starting because of Tyreek Hill. 50 TD passes. And you're going to try to come and tell me, and I won a Super Bowl with him. And now you're going to tell me we're going to trade him? Holy cow. You got to trust me. You're going to be a better quarterback for it. You got to trust me on what's resulted since they traded him. He's won 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Patrick Mahomes is a better player without Tyreek Hill because of Andy Reid's coaching. Patrick Mahomes trusts him. Reid trusts him. That's what happens when you have 5 years to 9 years or 6 years of having one coordinator in your ear versus a guy who's got one every other year. Trust the process. Hey, by the way, Brian, unlike Josh Harris, that's the process. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your greenhouse? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills. Unbelievable day today, guys. You guys were absolutely sensational. I can't thank you enough, man. Please hit the like button. I mean, we're absolutely at 560 likes, and this is where people are going to come when it comes to the football season here. We can't thank you enough for growing the show. All the super chats, I want to thank you guys. Really, listen, I think what we do is old school Philly radio. When I used to come down to Wildwood, or I could hear it up in Stamford, WIP used to go up to Stamford, Connecticut. Okay? When Tom Brookshire owned the station, he used to go up there. What was it then? Joe, behind the scenes, was it 610? Wasn't it 610 WIP? That sound right? 610? Right? 610, right. WFAN was the old WABC 660 with Soupy Sales and all them dudes. That used to be on there. Then they changed it to 66 WFAN. But I used to listen. The first year was actually WIP. Was 610. You could hear it all the way up to Connecticut. It was a $50,000 watt blowtorch. Okay? I mean, yeah, man. Great stuff, guys. Hey, you guys were sensational today. Can't thank you guys enough. Thank you again. Unbelievable stuff. Tomorrow's a football Friday, heading into the final exhibition game of the weekend with Minnesota on Saturday. The next week, it's like you get ready for Labor Day coming up and all that. That's when the cuts come. You're going to see some cuts coming up here real soon. Denny, Sills, what was that? Sills, quickly missed your take on the trade. You proved? Yeah, I think it was a great deal, dude. I think they did a nice job with it. Okay? Talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. But 2 to 6, Joe, Xander, thank you guys very much. And we'll see you on the flip side.